Everyone, this is a meeting of a historic review board for May 18th, 2021. Will everyone stand for a moment of silence and a pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call?
Strew present.
Tom present.
Lasser present.
Wells present. We have established a quorum. Are there any public comments, agenda items only?
There are no public comments.
Okay. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda format?
I
So
make a
moved.
motion we approve the agenda format.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes from March 16th, 2021, April 2nd, 2021, April 20th, 2021, and April 28th, 2021?
I make a motion that they be approved as read.
A second.
Can I get
Roll
a
call.
vote, roll call vote?
Stu? Mike?
Yes.
Lasser,
Aye.
yes.
Tom? Yes.
Been approved. Unfinished business. It's 315 Randolph Avenue. Is the applicant here or on video or phone?
She should be available.
Yes, this is Gia Owens. I'm both on the phone and watching the video. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, can you explain what you want to, what are you applying for?
Sure. So we started renovation on my house just to repair the damaged boards and put a new coat of paint on it. And in doing so, we added a front railing that I found out later needed to be approved by the Historic Review Board. So we did get a stop work notice on that. So here before you today to get approval, if you would, for that railing. And so I guess the rationale for why we did it, all the houses on the street had railings. Tried to stay in line with my home is a little bit more casual than some of the other homes that have more ornate railings. So we did do a rather simple railing that's much like the one to the left of my house. And, you know, the plan was to hopefully be able to paint that white to match the rest of the posts, which we restored to their original look with the routed edges off of those. And the railing also just seemed to present a safety, kind of address a safety concern that I have, because I do have it as a rental, and the step off of that porch is actually about 14 to 15 inches. So that was our thinking about it, but I do apologize for not knowing that I needed to get that approved in advance. So that's the first item. And then the things that have not been started that we also wanted to get approved, there's a door that I submitted pictures of. It literally, there's not a single piece of salvageable wood on it. In fact, the renters have actually put tape on it to keep the draft from coming in. And that door is inoperable. And what I was hoping to do there is replace it with a door identical to the one on the other side of the room that's probably, I would guess, maybe 10 or 12 feet from it. All the windows in the house have been replaced, so the materials, you know, would actually match the look of the rest of the home as well. And I'm thinking that other door, if we just matched it identically, since that one, I guess, was approved when the guys did the renovations before me, I'm hoping that an exact same door would be acceptable. And then if that door is operable, it would need a landing, obviously, to be able to use that door for safety. So I would think must have been a landing there before, but I don't have any pictures of the home prior to me purchasing it that were prior to the work that was done before I came into the home in 2017. And then the hope there would be to also put a railing that would match the railing on the front. Again, because that would actually end up being probably, guessing, I don't have the exact measurement, I guess that's probably maybe 18 to 20 inches over on that side once a landing was put coming out of that door. But that has not been started. I did provide a drawing of what I'm hoping to do there.
Are you still under the stop work order?
Yes,
Pardon me?
yes, she is still under the stop work
Yep.
order. We have not lifted that.
Oh, the sidewalk was laid this morning, the pavers. I drove by there and they were working on the front yard and laying pavers.
And the sidewalk may still be progressing, just in terms of how the work was laid out, but we stopped everything else relative to historic district approval at this point.
Okay.
And I know the railing and the work occurring on the porch and then the door replacement, that could not proceed until it came before this board.
Okay, so the sidewalk's not included.
No.
Any other comments from the board?
I'd like to know if you've made progress towards matching that door into the kitchen and determining whether there's going to be 1 or 2 steps on the, from the landing to the rear of the property?
Yes, sir. I believe it would need to be 2 steps, and I have not purchased the door yet.
Okay.
Waiting to get approval for that.
How about, are you confident you can match the door?
Yes, sir. It looks like a standard non-light door with the top part being where the I guess it's a plexiglass or some type of glass up there.
Yeah, no question.
It's a pretty common. I'm sorry. It's a pretty common door.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be replaced. Okay.
Oh yeah. I still put a safety stick on it, even though it's inoperable. It's just you could probably kick it down.
Back steps.
Let's see here.
You know, but there's a picture on the thing. Does the door swing out or in? If it swings out,
It's got to go in.
huh?
It has to go in.
Is it these
right
back
here.
steps that you're
See
talking
that?
about?
Yeah.
Exactly,
These?
yeah,
I just wanna make sure we're all looking at the same
Yeah.
thing.
right.
Thank you.
That landing's only 3 feet by 3 feet. So the door swings in, correct?
It appears so. And Gia, the question they're asking, would this kitchen door be swinging into the kitchen and not out to the outdoors? Is that correct?
I've never been able to open it, but let me look at the photos real quickly and see if I can
The
tell.
whole door looks like it
looks
swings
like it
into the
swings.
kitchen. And so,
Oh,
yeah, I think
it
it's-
swings, yes. It does. It does definitely. I can see that hinge on that one
You asked
picture.
Michael, this is the door that she has
Okay.
elsewhere in the house, and she's looking to duplicate that again to replace the kitchen door.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Wasn't there some
Okay,
other
thank
work on the west side of the house towards the rear? I noticed that the roof had to be replaced.
On the left side, yes, sir.
On the west side.
We did need to get a building permit for that because what happened, we started to put down there was a lot of rotted wood. And so as they started to pull that off to be able to paint the house, there were rotted corner posts and then the joist above, those were I think that's what they call it. Those were rotted underneath. So basically what they did, they could have covered it up and pretended like they didn't see it, but we wanted to restore the home and make it as best as it could be. So we went ahead and with the expense of replacing those completely. But then I think that's what kicked it into needing the building permit, which we obtained once it became such a big renovation project, I'll call it, because it was a whole lot more than we ever anticipated having to get into, for sure.
That's the door, right?
There's a question about
The-
the style of the door. We're kind of concerned if you can match the existing door as close as you can.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain we can. It's a very standard, like Lowe's, Home Depot looking type door, in my opinion.
I have a question about the roof that you were just talking about on the back. Was it just that one little section?
I'm sorry?
The roof on the back section of the house, was it just that one section that you replaced?
No, that's not even close.
That ain't gonna fly.
Sorry, we didn't hear the roof question, I'm sorry, Karen.
Oh, I just wanted to, was it only that little extension that was replaced?
Gia can answer in more detail on that. I can tell this all started when she came in for the roof permit, because that did come through the office, we did approve it, because as I started tackling, she had some roof damage, and so we did sign off on the roofing repairs to get that done. I can't remember the full extent of that roofing work that went through the building official, okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a complete.
I think it was, but I'm not positive, that's why I don't.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
The rafters were replaced, all the sheathing, new shingles or new metal, I'm not sure. But,
Right.
I'll tell you one thing, it's a whole lot better than what was there, because it was, pieced together very unprofessionally once they got in there and saw what was happening. There was no sheathing or any of that underlayment even existing.
the
It was a nightmare.
The door that you are showing to replace the existing rotted door is not really comparable to the one that's on the house now. This is not a standard Home Depot or Lowe's door.
The one I'm hoping to replace it with is gonna be one that would look just like the one on the other side of the room from it.
Well, if it's the one that we have here on record,
Yes.
that's a 9-light, 2-panel door. That's nothing comparable to the one that's existing. That's a metal door, this is wooden door. You have 3 raised panels on the top. You have like 3 raised panels underneath the window. And that's nothing like the door that you're showing.
And just so we're all clear, Gia, and I know this is a little challenging with you just by the phone, the door we're talking about is the sample you gave us that you've indicated is the door that is elsewhere in the kitchen, about a foot away. And so you're looking to duplicate that metal door again in this spot of the wood door.
That's correct.
And the board is letting you know that they're having a little bit of a challenge with that, as it retaining its historic character, both in style and material. Especially in the style, as you look at it, your historic wooden door has a 1-pane glass, not 9 panes of glass. And it also has,
I mean,
it
what
has
would,
more
what would you
character
think?
in the wood paneling, both at top and at the bottom. Go ahead.
Right, so the door on the other side of the kitchen, how would that have been approved if it was the same type of door?
We didn't approve it on this board. I don't know who approved it.
Right,
It could have been put in long before the board was established.
It's possible.
okay, I see. I mean, I would love to think I could replace that door, but, then I guess the other side would need to be replaced as well.
Well, that's existing. We're not gonna tell you to rip that out. I mean,
Okay,
you know,
The idea is that if you leave it there, it's okay, but if you replace something, it has to meet the criteria.
So I think what you're hearing, Gia, is they are supportive and understand that the existing wooden door is not salvageable, but they would like a greater effort at the style of door that you're looking to put in to more closely mimic or mirror that wooden door. Am I hearing you correctly?
how would I,
yes.
Yes.
how would I go about getting a door like that? Would it need to be custom made?
No, there are many resources for historic doors, including our local hardware store. They have doors that are historic looking.
So I think if you take a picture of your existing wooden door, to your vendors, whether it be to one of the commercial large hardware stores or locally here on the shore, and show them a picture of your existing door, they might be able to give you a comparable, a comparable look.
Okay. What would make that acceptable if it has the same amount of light coming through and basically the same structure? Or does it also need to be wood?
It has to be the same.
The design should be comparable to the existing one.
So
It
you
may
have-
not be
Okay.
exact, it may not be exact, but something relatively close.
Okay.
You may have to search online for a door that's gonna be comparable to this. Or you may,
Okay.
you may have to get in touch like the previous speakers
There are
have
also
said.
places on the shore that sell used doors.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, or
I'm sorry, what was that?
You might
What
be
was
able to
that
get a
comment?
salvage door on the shore here. There's a few places you could possibly try.
That sounds good. I'd love to know those.
Up and down 13, you know, around.
Terrific. Thank you.
You can try Northampton Lumber,
Yeah, that's a good source.
and they can guide you in the right direction. They supply an awful lot of restoration people with lumber and millwork. I would try-
Okay, that's terrific. Yeah.
I would try them.
Okay.
So, I don't know how you want
Yeah,
to proceed with
very familiar with them.
Defer it, maybe?
Yeah.
So I guess from the board, are you good with the front railing with spindles that she's proposing?
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Are you good with the front steps she's also proposing?
they're already there, right? I mean, they're already installed.
Yes, but I need the concurrence, and we're about to put together a motion for you.
Okay.
And with your approval, with the guidance you've given today, that you would provide administrative approval to me to sign off on a replacement door for the kitchen comparable to her existing door in style and material.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, and also including with it a 3x3 landing with 2 steps for that kitchen door. And a railing that would be comparable to the front railing style.
Exactly. The only problem I have with the steps on the back, the drawing doesn't look like they are to code, but that's not our problem.
Right, they will need to be built to code,
Okay.
yes.
And the decking perpendicular to the house.
Right.
Okay,
Other than that, we're good.
okay.
Terrific.
So with
Yeah.
those elements, do we have the basis of a motion that you can
Yes.
sign off
Someone
on?
wanna-
I'll make a motion that we approve under the conditions that you just read out to us.
Okay,
Yeah, I second.
okay.
All in favor?
I-
Aye.
Aye.
The motion is passed. And good luck with the door hunting.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Gia, we'll be in touch.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item 6 under new business, fences only. This is gonna be Katie's.
Sure, and before we proceed any further, I did want to, I know the board has
Oh,
now
I
met
forgot.
him,
I forgot to introduce Ben Sullivan, our new planner. He's there.
so we're glad he has joined us this evening. It's really his first introduction to the Historic District Review Board and process, so we're glad to have him part of the team, So with that said, we gave you a slightly different format with your agenda moving forward. I hope this works. This is a tryout, so we tried to clump applications of similar consideration. So our first one up is 506 Tazewell Avenue, and this is from Ken and Imogene Buta. I hope I got the name right. They're looking for a fence for a total height of 6 feet. I know that the applicant had requested to have a fence along the alleyway be 8 feet tall, but however, that is not in compliance with their zoning ordinance. So maximum height they could have would be 6 feet.
Okay.
Otherwise, we are good with that. And they are looking for a wooden privacy fence, that's how they've described it. And I think you've got all the rest of the information concerning the application.
Okay.
Mr. Buda, would you like to come up and address the board?
Sure. you know, we're next door, and,
Can you just state your name?
oh, I'm sorry, Ken Buda, 506 Tazewell Avenue. And we're just looking to put a fence that will start about where the ramp, coming up here on the side would be, and then around the back, ending at the same place. Can you speak back here?
Go ahead.
To that one.
We forgot how to do this, we haven't been live in so long in person.
It would be a horizontal fence, and we would have two gates, 4 feet wide, one in the front, right over here by the side, and then one in the back next to the shed.
How far up on the side of the house will it go?
It will go where the ramp begins here.
I don't know. Is that the up the side, or is that the back corner?
It is on the side.
I think she's asking the rear or the front.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's about halfway up the house.
So from the front to the back, it's halfway.
Yes,
Because the issue is that
Right.
once you pass the back of the house and go up the side of the house, it can only be 3 feet,
4 feet.
4 feet. 42 inches, is it?
4 feet.
4 feet, okay. It can only be 6 feet up to the back corner of your house. And then after it passes that point, it has to drop down. That's what the guidelines say.
That comes from the zoning.
That's the
That's
zoning
not
board.
our board. That's straight from the zoning board.
okay.
It also suggests to be painted. I don't know what you're
No, we are not planning to
not
paint.
planning on painting. Any other questions?
Let's confirm, the 8-foot portion is gone now, it's all gonna be 6 feet?
Yes,
That would- Okay, thank you.
So really, the only issue is that one little section on the side of the house that will have to be lowered.
Are you okay with that? So from the rear of the house up to the center, or wherever you were gonna start, you would have to drop down to 4 feet.
which may be lower than the railing on the ramp.
I'm not familiar with what you're speaking about.
On this building, there is a ramp coming up the side.
Oh, okay.
And so the fence, we wanted it to be higher than that. So I would just be concerned about a fence that's lower than,
You'll have to address the zoning board or the zoning person with that issue.
Now that I understand the exact location, I didn't get that it was gonna go past the corner, the corner of the house. We could petition the Board of Zoning Appeals for an increase in that height for that portion of the side. So, but you guys can still act upon the material and the fence itself, and if we need to seek a variance from the height restriction, we could do that.
on the east side, the fence won't go past the back corner of the
Okay.
house.
Right.
So it's only here on the
On
west.
that one corner, right.
Yeah, I have no problem with the materials and the design.
Okay, but we'll stipulate to a 4-foot drop down, and so that this doesn't go on for another
Right.
3 months.
Go into Christmas,
Yes.
no problem.
Well, that's up to you. I mean, you could still go for the variance.
Right, but it took 80 days to get to this, to get to the point where we could start from before to add another, we're good with the 4 feet.
Okay.
So, thanks.
And I make a motion to approve, to issue certificate of approval for the fence as designed and stipulated, dropping down to 4 feet.
A 6-foot wooden fence for all the back area, and anything on the side would be 4 feet.
Correct.
Thank you. I need a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Strube,
Aye.
oh, it's not roll call.
Tom, aye.
Yeah. Aye.
Well, you're not supposed to ask any questions. This is not an open forum.
That's my wife.
Okay, fine. If you're the wife, come on. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is there any issue with how the transition from 6 feet to 4 feet should appear?
I
depends on the design. I mean, it doesn't have to be that way. It could just drop down a foot.
Right, if you're doing the horizontal one, so you probably just have to drop down.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, so
Okay,
is the motion,
pass.
the motion is approved?
Yep.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, the second fence,
Sure, and I'm gonna move up there so we don't have to keep moving the microphone.
okay.
So our next one is for 538 Monroe Avenue. Same thing, this one is slightly different in height. They are seeking to construct a 39-inch tall wooden fence in the front yard corner of the house to the property line and running to the back corner of the house, both sides. And again, we've provided information in there. We do allow a maximum fence height of 4 feet, so we are actually proposing in your motion, you consider it for the maximum height so that he doesn't have to come back if he should make some tweaks to his height requirements. So we just wanted to keep him within the maximum of 4 feet, but if he builds less than that, that'd be okay with us,
No,
I think.
no.
So, and I do know Mr. Jones is here if you wish to hear from him.
Would you like to speak? Come up to the microphone.
Show and tell. So, first off, let me thank y'all for the time you're spending on this and the staff for all their support in getting through this and understanding the process. So I really appreciate that. So I'm Sam Jones. My wife Julie and I have been here in love with Cape Charles for 6 years now at 538 Monroe. And as Katie said, our proposal is to put a white picket fence. This would be the design of it. So it's a 2-inch wide with 2-inch gap between it. A little bit different than what you see around here. It's got more of a candle shape to it, which we really like. And we like the wood because we like the substance of it. We'll be painted white, 3 coats of paint to make sure that we are sensitive to the setbacks there. So we're actually exceeding the setbacks that are required for the zoning. We're doing a 1-foot setback on the sides to make sure we can do maintenance of the fence, and then also that our neighbors can do maintenance of their homes if they need to. And we're actually doing a 3-foot setback from the sidewalk rather than the 2-foot that we had. Very, very straightforward project. As Katie said, we're proposing to do 39 inches. We know with the way the land moves, that might move up and down a couple of inches, but we think that's sufficient to make it safe for our grandchildren that'll be there, and as well as pets that our children have. And I'm glad to answer any questions that you have.
Can you just tell me when your home was built?
It says 1920 in the report. We think it's actually 1910, so it is a contributing structure.
Okay, it's listed as, have I got the right one? It says it's a the shed is the non-contributing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess, okay.
I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
So this would be the only house on the south side of the block to install a fence in the front.
That's correct. From our house, you can see 2 that are on the other side of the street, right down from it.
That's pretty common. I have one on one street.
We actually counted. There are 20.
Have you counted?
And yes, sir. We walked every street. There are 20 in town, and that doesn't include the fences that come like all the way down the side, but don't come across the front. So it's not uncommon at all. And we did go back and look at the 1996 preservation plan, which speaks specifically to white picket fences and the way they contribute to the overall historic nature of the town.
I think it meets the zoning requirement, the materials are appropriate, and the height is appropriate. So,
It just says in the guidelines that the front
Yeah.
fencing is usually not compatible.
But I know you're right about the 20. I think I've counted them too.
Yes, sir.
That's just the way it is, yeah.
you can't
No, there's
Right,
nothing
it's
that
not-
says
it's
you
not
can't.
permitted.
There's nothing in the book that says you can't do anything, really. But
Okay.
does anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we issue certificate of approval for him to put his fence in up to the zoning height of 4 feet in case you have to go a little bit
Thanks.
higher, with the materials you have.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right. Motion is passed.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on. We have the next section under renovation, minor renovation, and it's 546 Randolph Avenue. Is the applicant here?
Yeah, we're on the phone, yes.
Wait, I skipped solar panel.
Yeah, C.
9 Park Row. Is the applicant here?
Hi, my name is Alexa. I'm representing John McLaughlin. He may be there in person, he may be on the phone, but I'm from Convert Solar.
Yeah, he's here.
Hi, John.
If
Of
I may
course,
if I may take a few minutes before the applicant
Yes, please.
goes, just to talk to you in general about solar panels. In our guidance and in our zoning ordinance, it actually talks about these as administrative review. It actually does not talk about them coming to the board for approval. In researching how solar panels have been handled in the past, there has been some inconsistent application of it. So I am looking for your guidance this evening to get some clarification on a few items before we take a decision or position on this particular application. So I really just want to have a general conversation about solar panels first, if I may. So in the past, we had one that was approved through an administrative process, and it got approved as an affirmative in the historic district. And then can I find that fast enough? Give me 1 second.
That's the shed, that's the roof on the
Thank-
front of the house that you can't see, correct?
Yes,
On Tazewell.
thank you.
Yeah, there's a picture in the packet, yeah.
At 25 Tazewell.
Right.
Yes. And so then there was a second one that did come before the Historic District Review Board for solar panels at 114 Fig Street.
Correct.
And that was denied by the board based upon its location and visibility in terms of the placement of the solar panels on that structure.
Correct.
So as part of this, I wanted to have a general conversation so that we have an understanding from the staff perspective how to look and review this in trying to understand the criteria we should be applying in reviewing these applications. Because I have had multiple conversations for multiple properties in the historic district in just the last month alone. So this will not be the last application we have for this. So we want to make sure we are setting a correct criteria in our review standards.
Correct.
So, go for it.
In voting on this one, or this one has a potential to open Pandora's box for any non-contributing structure, correct?
Correct, and so there are a couple of various elements that I wanted to touch upon to get your feedback and perspective on to make sure I'm looking at these correctly.
Okay, so that's why I asked you the question. So
Yes,
if a non-contributing structure wants to put up solar panels, then approving this one, we set a precedent, correct?
we set a standard, yes,
Standard,
yes.
okay, so,
Well, it depends, because I think there needs to be a determination whether or not the proposed location is about as obscure or invisible as possible. Because if there's an obvious alternative that they overlooked, then they would be, recommended to use that alternative. I mean, I see there's some resemblance here to the dish, that kind of thing, that if that's the only place you can put it, try to put it where it's still at least, the least amount of distraction possible, not that you can't have it.
that's the whole purpose, that what we're doing, Mike, but, okay, so, but this is the first step to opening the box.
Yes,
When you
well, you say Pandora's box, you want to explain the metaphor a little bit, but you sound like it's going to be a can of worms or a lot of problems coming from this.
No, I'm saying
Okay.
that once, then you start the applications, is when I say open the box, meaning that you could then open the application process, that if we approve this one, then as inconspicuous as this one may be, which it is inconspicuous to a point,
I don't think it's inconspicuous at all.
no.
From the street.
Something that I do think,
From the street, you can see that the
something that I
left
do
side of the
think-
gable is completely covered with the panels. As far as the other two in town that already have one already has the panels on the roof, that was done before this board. It's not conspicuous from the road, really. It's a small array on the roof. The other one was on a historic house that was turned down because it was conspicuous from the road. So going by what the guidelines, they're not very explicit, but if it's visible, they kind of put a negative connotation on the whole system.
Well, and I think we need some clarity because, and again, so everybody here at this room and hearing this meeting can understand, we reviewed this application with the knowledge that this work had not happened yet.
Yeah.
We now know, because we've been out again on site, I think all the members have been on site, and actually the work has already commenced and has been completed. And we just have to acknowledge the fact that no permits were pulled, and that is an issue that my office will be dealing with the building official, because a permit is required for this type of work, and it's good for everybody to know this moving forward. Historic District Review Board approval is necessary here, whether it be through an administrative review or through your actual voting. A zoning clearance is required, and then a building permit plus an electrical permit from the building department is required for this work. And those permits were not pulled or issued for this project. So we have two different pots that we are dealing with here, and one I just want to keep us focused on the philosophical conversation first, and we will use the Park Row location as our point of nexus to discuss this. Is that really viewed as a visible from the road, and is it from the Park Road, and how well traveled is that, and trying to figure out that impact to the historic district? It is a non-contributing structure within the historic district, within that historic registry that we have done of properties, and the significance of that designation to our consideration as well. The number of panels, I think the height of the panels, they're 4 inches from the roof surface. So again, I think that's pretty low profile as I have seen solar panel modulations
4
considered.
inches to the underside or to the top side?
Well, that's a great question. We can clarify that with the vendor who's on the call with us from Alexa here in a second. So I think we have a couple of different issues. I will say, in my understanding of the package that was submitted, the solar panels should have been put on the other side of the roof. If I'm wrong, please tell me if I'm wrong in reading through
On
the
the west
materials.
It's on the west side.
It's on the east side.
It's on the east side.
Oh, it is.
No, I'm sorry, you're right, no, you're both correct, it's the west side.
So, sorry, and according to the picture, I thought it was going to be on the other side.
On the east side.
Yes, so we need to get some clarity here from the actual specifics of this application. So I hope I've kind of laid the foundation. I know we've got a lot to talk about with this one. So I open it up to the board, and we may want to hear from the vendor and the owner to hear the specifics of this application at this point. I don't think we're quite reached at a point we can make a recommendation back to you from the staff. I think we need to get more information right now.
I think that's up to the solar company as to where they put the solar panels. That's not up for anyone here to decide.
Yeah, it's where you get the best.
I understand that, but that would be part of their process in putting together an application,
That's
which
for
they
permitting,
did.
permits and stuff. That's not our purview.
You're right, but they supplied information to us showing us the location of where it would be placed on the roof. And we reviewed and evaluated it based upon that information.
And it was incorrect.
So there
I
is
don't believe so.
technical review with the National Park Service about solar panels on historic properties.
Okay?
And it says, very simple, solar panels installed on historic property in a location that cannot be seen from the ground will generally meet the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation.
Yes.
Then it goes on to say on the, let's see, a low-profile solar collector for water heating systems that are flush mounted, talk about different kinds. Anyway, it goes on to talk about how visible they are and if they have an impact on the historic character of the property, even if they are visible.
Those are
So it's subjective. It's a
Yeah.
subjective.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
It is a case-by-case basis,
And,
yes.
What she's reading is a contributing structure.
For contributing structure, and that's, this one is very unique because it's a non-contributing
Right,
structure.
which would make it more
And its
strict.
location is on a road that, it's almost at a dead end of Park Road, so
This
there's,
is it.
right,
Okay.
that's my point. So yes, you're adjacent to the park, but it's is it the last house? It is the last house.
Next to the.
Next to the last house on Park
Number
Road.
11's the last.
Right, so those are a couple of factors I wanted us to have that conversation with this evening.
Is visible, very visible from the park. the entrance to the park, off of the main road, that
Strawberry,
Strawberry.
Park Road
But
South.
from the street, I walked by there.
Right.
You've got the garage right in front, which pretty much blocks it until you pass the house.
Till you get up on it.
And you're looking at an angled back, then
Right.
you can see it. It's a short window.
Garage, there's no garage in the front of that house.
She means the adjacent building.
Well,
Parking.
the building that is on the
Right.
street.
Right. So when you're walking on Park Road, unless you're looking on this very tall building, it's a two-story building,
Correct.
you really have to be looking up to see it. I'm being candid here.
Yeah,
So if
and
you're
not
walking
straight
your
from
dog
the
or you're out walking in the neighborhood as a whole, you might not necessarily see it. It's not something that
It
screams,
blends-
look at
it-
me.
It does blend well.
Right, it's a very dark panel and it's already a dark roof on top of it,
Right.
yes.
The only problem I have with it is Michael took offense to the Pandora's box. I don't mean Pandora, I meant, we're opening,
We know that there are going to be additional
I don't-
applications coming
Right.
in
exactly.
the
So,
historic district for
Are we
solar.
gonna look at every one of them and say yes or no?
Yes, I think that is what we are going to have to do, is they are going to be on a location-based
that's all.
So are we saying that a non-contributing structure is gonna have a little more leeway than a
It's a
contributing
possibility.
structure?
I take that approach, but I'm,
But-
again, as you guys have heard from me, this is my first time administering a
Okay.
Historic District Review Board.
I mean, that's the
So-
only guidance we
No.
have, really. It says solar arrays are allowed per the zoning ordinance and in the historic overlay as long as it's not visible from the street. Doesn't mention anything about non-contributing
I know.
or non-historic.
But we do make we have heard at other meetings I've been attending in and representing you, I have heard a difference between sheds that are non-contributing structures, sheds that are now contributing structures,
Right.
and
And,
houses that are non-contributing structures versus houses that are. So we have been employing some criteria to that within our own internal review. Our documents may not show it, but our approvals over the years have shown it.
Right.
But
Yes.
I
So-
don't think in the case of the solar panels, making a distinction between the two is really appropriate because it affects the entire neighborhood. On the other hand, I do think you're gonna see a lot of these because people are conscious of solar power,
Yeah,
want
I was
to be
gonna say.
efficient,
Mhm.
and there are better products out there that are not as visible. So I think it's gonna get better.
Can we speak? Hey, this is Noli from Convert Solar. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I'd like to mention some things here.
We will,
So,
sir, just, sir, if you, sir, we will get to you in one
Yeah.
second. I want to make sure the board has had a chance to have an initial conversation, and then we will allow both you and the property owner to speak. So one more minute, sir.
I'd like to mention one other thing too. Due to circumstances beyond the town's control, the comprehensive plan, which almost should be in effect by now, will have probably for the first time an entire chapter dedicated to environment. And I believe the issue of fossil fuel versus solar just might be mentioned in there, and it could be an ingredient for us to come to some kind of an overall position about this.
So then, if we could make it simplified by saying we would do it case by case, contributing versus non-contributing structures, no matter whether they're non or contributing, we'll do them case by case.
Okay,
I think that's how we try to treat everything.
okay.
Yeah.
That helps me understand how we should be processing through
Then
the
she's
office.
gonna-
I
then
appreciate
Katie
that
would
guidance.
know the
Yes.
way that we agree that there's no standard, it's gonna be case by case, visibility, the height from the solar panel from the roof,
Yes.
and everybody get permits that are required.
Right. So I appreciate the policy discussion at large here. Now let's get to the specific questions, and I know we definitely have a vendor that would like to talk to us with the specifics of this application, Mr. Chairman.
And you're right, Herb, there are gonna be a lot more.
Oh, yeah, oh, no, it's
Yeah.
gonna,
Yeah.
we'll be flooded.
Hello, sir.
I think his name is Chad.
Chad?
Hi, this is
no, we
Alexa.
have-
Noli.
Yes.
Both of us
Alexa
are on
and
the line.
Noli are on the phone.
So essentially, we installed a flush mount solar system on John McLaughlin's home. We know this was on a side street on Park Row near the park. The system was reflecting on our end that we did have permits. So we did go ahead and install the system. Of course, this is inaccurate, and this is our fault here. With this being a newly built home, our team did assume that this was not within the historic district, being that this house didn't seem to be a contributing structure to the historic overlay, as it is on a side street there. There was another system, again, like you had mentioned, on 425 Taswell, where a system is installed in the front of the house. In our case, we did install on the west side of a two-story home on the top of the roof with a flush mount system. So it's essentially one of the lowest mounted solar systems that's possible to install. Of course, we are looking for approval, but of course, we've already installed the system. There are a few things that we do want to note. There is something that is a state law. It's based around HOAs getting approval to install, or I'm sorry, HOAs prohibiting homeowners to install solar on their houses. It's actually illegal for an HOA to tell a customer that they cannot install solar on their home because it does benefit the environment.
We're not an HOA, we're a town.
Yes, so
Yes,
what she's doing, she's mentioning this, so you guys are aware of the law. We've also worked with the Chesapeake Historic.
The law doesn't pertain to this particular
It's not
case.
applicable here, sir.
We definitely understand. So what we're mentioning is that just so you're aware that there is a law, because there's a movement, just like you all spoken about, of people going solar, because just like you said, you're going to get more applications. So it's going to be a good idea to review these, like you guys have said you're going to review,
Thank you.
and maybe use this law as a good common practice.
You can't speak to that.
What we've often seen, in this case, when we do install in historic areas, which is very, very, common, just like you've stated, you're starting to get more homeowners looking to do so at their own homes. I've been in the industry for 8 years now, and I haven't run into an issue when it's on the west or east side. It's only ever been when it's on the south side directly facing the street. Of course, this is going to be case by case, and this is your specific district. But based on what we've seen in the past, this is something that's very common in historic areas, especially if, again, it's on a taller home and it's on a side street on on a newer house. We did install on the west side of the house. That is the side that's going to get the greatest exposure. That will help the customer in terms of getting the most exposure on the system, as well as saving them the most money. When we did submit, we did use the west side of the home in our design originally. So that was the plan from the beginning. I know that the customer's house didn't originally show on the map, so it may have not been as clear, but we did install and we did submit plans for the west side of the home in the process here from the beginning.
Okay, but you installed it without the proper criteria?
We installed it on the proper area.
The side that we had submitted for, which was the west side, is the side that we did install on. So we did stick with the same exact side that we had submitted for originally.
Okay, there seems to be a little controversy about that.
So it will accept if it's the west side, then that's their intent, was the west side. It has been installed at this point, so if that is still supported from this board, that you feel that the solar panels on this particular house and location are within our guidelines and acceptable to you, we are going to make the applicant aware that, yes, building permits still need to be pulled for this. There will have to be a building permit, an electrical permit. There are fees associated with that. The zoning clearance happens within that fee structure. And through the building official, yes, there'll be a penalty to having work done without the permits pulled. And I know that is a flat fee of $300 for working without a permit.
We can't understand what you're saying.
She doesn't understand.
We
Sure.
can't hear you.
I will try again, and I'm at the mic. So again.
Maybe
Sorry.
closer to the microphone.
Okay, so here's the issue. So if this board approves solar panels being installed at this location based upon the profile and information we have in our hand, we're making you aware there are still fees that have to be paid and permits gathered from the town associated with the building permit an electrical permit. Zoning clearance will be issued as part of that process. There are fees that the building official charges for those, and he will also have to impose a permit after the fact, a issuance of a $300
inspection.
penalty for working without permits.
Yes, of
that
course,
we can
and
pay that.
we-
That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we are 100% willing to take that on. I see that we've already submitted, started the process for a lot of the permits as well as the zoning, et cetera, and we certainly understand anything that we do need to take care
I
of,
wanted to make
being that
sure
we installed
everyone
too
was
soon.
aware, we would handle that side of this problem, okay?
Of course.
So Katie, you're asking this board to either accept or deny this application for a permit?
Yes.
Katie,
I think you're the property owner.
I'm the owner.
Yes.
Sure,
Come on
come
forward.
on up.
And it's Mr. McLaughlin? Thank you.
How you doing? John McLaughlin here. I'm the owner of 9 Park Row. Thank you for
thank
your
you for your
service.
service.
Thank you, sir, for your service to the town here. Just a little bit of background here. I'd like to say that I have every intent of keeping with the historic feel of the neighborhood. I put a lot into this house when I built it. I put a lot of extras in to make it look nice and consistent with the town, even though it's not a contributing structure. I went with hardy plank. The builder did a lot of fascia on the front. He kind of initially did it in sheet metal, and I had him pull that down because it looked cheap and it didn't look nice. So there's definitely a lot of work and thought that I put into this house. I contracted with Convert Solar, who had informed me that they would handle the permits and everything. So I just assumed everything was approved when they started their work. As far as the work itself, I feel like the system fits. It looks nice on the house. It's a dark color. It's only a couple inches off the roof. If you're standing directly in front of the house, you can't see it, but if you are in the park on that side, you can definitely see it. But I don't think it takes away from the historic feel of the town. I mean, as you all have discussed, we're going, the country is going this way, and solar panels are going to be huge in this country, and I think they're going to be everywhere, essentially. And I think the job that they've done and what I've envisioned, and I take responsibility for that happening. I'm the owner of the house. I should have double-checked on that. But I think the way going forward, there's no denying that technology is going to be all over the place, and I feel the work that was done, I feel it blends pretty well with the roof and the town, and about as inconspicuous as you could make a system, I feel. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
So additional material from the Secretary of the Interior gives recommendations, and they're basically saying minimally visible as opposed to not visible.
Not visible at all.
And that they be installed in a sensitive manner, and that they not disturb the historic structure. But since this is a non-contributing,
Right.
that's, so really, it's just a matter of, it's up. The material's there. I think I'm okay with approving it.
I don't have a problem at all with the way it looks. Aesthetically, it matches the roof of the house. It matches the roof line of the house better than if it was an 8-12 pitch versus what it is. It's probably 10-12 or 12-12. It goes with the roof. And if you weren't in the park or going down Park Road, you probably wouldn't notice it if you weren't looking for it. So, as long as you have absorbed the guidance that we're trying to give you, Katie,
I am.
I make a motion that we give him a certificate of appropriateness and keep the maximum fines that we can to the contractor We should have known better.
Sure. So again, I hear a motion to that effect with supporting rationale being the roof pitch of this particular house and the placement of the panels are complementary, the color is complementary, and the fact that it's a non-contributing structure.
That's perfect. Thank you, Katie.
I'd also like to add that it's a case-by-case basis.
Yes, I have that as a policy direction. That will be included in these minutes. Yes.
I second that motion.
Second, thank you.
Can I get a vote?
Tom, I.
Glasser, aye.
Strube, aye.
Wells, aye.
Thank you.
It's been approved unanimously. Good luck.
Katie,
We appreciate that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Katie, I think as we get more and more of these, we'll be able to develop clearer criteria.
Yes, and be able to provide that information in advance to every applicant for consideration. Yes.
And we can say that moving forward, when we do come into the historic district, we will make sure to file all guidelines.
Thank you, Alexa. We'll be in touch, Chad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Minor renovation, I-46 Randolph Avenue. Is the applicant here?
We are on the phone.
Okay, would you like to explain what you're looking to do?
We submitted an application on April 18th. The house had railings on the front porch that were removed by the previous owner, and we simply want to reinstall similar Williamsburg-type railings on the front porch.
Okay, what kind of material are they made out of?
No, that's what
It's a polycomposite
Oh, yeah, here it
in white.
is. Okay,
Is that what was there in 17, I remember?
Yeah, I think the materials are acceptable.
is it, the profile is the one that's in the picture that you submitted?
As close as we can find, yes.
And that matches the, no, it doesn't really match the top detail on the...
No, they never did do, well, as close as possible to the little railings at the top, but even the original ones didn't match perfectly.
Yeah, I have no problem. I actually remember when the railing was on there, because I lived 2 houses up, and I think it would look better.
So there was an existing one on there, was it the original, or was it, not the?
Yeah, we submitted a photo
This is a photo.
of the house in 2017.
This is now, and I think that's probably 17. Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't look original, it almost looks like that's a composite also, unless I'm mistaken.
It was wood.
It was wood?
We don't have any idea, that was,
Well, does anyone else have any discussion?
Was it wood then?
This original was wood. That's what they're saying, I don't know.
Yeah. Wood.
It's gonna be a composite.
Oh, changes the height too.
Are there specific heights they have to be?
The
No,
code, yeah.
the original wasn't that high. Hello?
Yeah.
But there aren't
Huh?
no
Well,
written
it probably has to bring it
guidelines.
up to code now, right? It's gone.
Yeah,
Not
that's
sure.
a code issue as far as the height. Katie, are there specific heights that railings have to be?
I don't know that specifically from the building code.
Yeah, it definitely is.
There is, I just don't know what that is. I don't know if it's 3 feet or
Ed knows back
6
there.
feet. So
It's 32 to 36 inches, something like that.
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's 3 feet or something greater than that. I just don't know that from the building code.
What's the
I'm not the
height
building official.
What's the height of the new one?
They're proposing a 6-foot,
Length.
6-foot length,
That's-
36-inch
yeah.
white poly poly composite rail kit.
6 foot?
6 foot length,
Section.
sorry.
Section.
What's the height?
I thought I heard a pause, so I stopped for a second. 6
Three-
foot
3
times
foot.
36 inches, so 3 feet is what they're proposing in height for this railing.
So the other one must have been,
It looks about 3 feet would be my guess, but again, I can't tell in this picture what the height of the old railing was.
Yeah.
and this one looks like it's about 6 foot tall.
No,
Well, I just think that's the picture that was
Yeah.
taken, but the dimensions are 6 feet by 36
36
inch.
inches.
If I look further down, it says Williamsburg 6 feet by 36 feet, 36 inches.
So I'm wondering how that rail's gonna tie into the existing post.
They won't. They won't. The maximum you can do is 27 inches.
Okay, that's what we're discussing here now. So that's gonna look kinda odd, don't you think?
It will not match at all.
No. he's
Fact is,
got
I don't know how
back.
you would
No,
attach.
it looks like hell. Excuse me.
So what are you proposing?
This is what I'm talking about.
Are you talking to the owner?
This is
Yes.
27, and he's talking about.
The 20,
But he'd have to go above that.
I think we lost him. Hello?
No, we're here. We're trying to figure out if you're talking to us or to someone else
No,
on the board.
I'm talking to you right now. Your height
Okay.
that you're buying is 36 inches, but it sounds like your previous height was only about approximately 27 inches, is that correct?
correct, and that's, I'd like to go back with 27 inches because you cannot attach a 36-inch railing to my posts.
Well,
So the
that's what we're looking for. But I don't know how that goes for code. If he's replacing it, the existing 27 that was there before, it's not gonna work?
I can't say he's replacing the existing because it's been gone for at least 3 years, if not longer.
Longer.
So he has to go to the building code.
32 inches?
I honestly don't know what the
It's not
building code
27, that's for
requirements
sure.
are. But he's gonna have to comply with the building code.
Okay, but do you see the problem that we have?
I do.
The turning on the post.
Yes, where the,
He's aware of
the
it.
spindle
He's aware of it.
decoration is on the post, and he's aware of
Yeah,
that
the
issue.
homeowner's aware of it. That's what we were just talking about. He wanted to cut it to 27, but it's,
Other than the building issue as far as height, we're really just looking at the
The
material.
materials, and it
And
sounds like we
design.
need to address this with the building official to see how it can be installed in a way that doesn't, mar the appearance of how it connects to where that spindle decoration is on that post.
The turning,
I got you.
yeah.
So, are we okay with the materials?
well, we would prefer the wood painted, but we've been letting composite work, so I mean,
Can't stop it. We already opened that door.
Yeah, so I think that's okay.
So then, Katie, what the motion should be that the height would be the limit, or would be the legal limit from the
Yes.
building
The
department.
minimum necessary to meet the building code,
And to try to stay below the
and to
turning.
try not to disturb,
The
the
turn.
decorative turn on the
Right.
columns.
yeah, it's gonna be up to the building department.
And I will speak with the building official to see what we
Okay.
can do.
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, did the applicant understand what just happened?
Yes, we have to go to by building code.
Well, I believe Katie will get in touch with, the
Yes, I
building.
will speak with Jeb Brady tomorrow and make him aware of this particular decision and see what we can work on, Mr. Harris, and we will be in touch with you.
Okay, I thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next item, E, it's 509 Harbor Avenue. Is the applicant present or on the line?
Applicant is on the line, sir. Llewellyn Blackwelder.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit what you're applying for?
Yes, sir. So I'm hoping to replace the existing yellow vinyl siding that is in poor condition in most places around the house. There are holes in it. The undercoat of, what is that? The styrofoam that's underneath the backing of it is coming out in several places on the house. So we're just looking to replace the existing siding with, it's called double 5-inch Dutch lap siding. The color is, by the manufacturer, is called wheat. It looks like pale yellow. And we'd also like to replace the existing trim that is also broken and chipped in many places with just new white trim. Remove the existing bright blue shutters with new shutters that are called indigo blue that actually look more like navy.
Okay,
This is what it's
any discussion?
now.
What's under the siding that you have now?
It's, hang on, I've lost the styrofoam. It looks like it's white styrofoam.
That's
So
the
it just
insulating
hasn't
board.
adhered. Yeah, it just hasn't adhered to it. What,
That's insulating foam board that goes underneath the siding. So that's not the siding that's existing on your house. That was added. when-
no, sir.
That was added when they did the vinyl that's on there now.
So what's under that?
Yes, sir. I'm assuming the original siding to the house.
Which is,
Whatever may have been part of the installation of approximately 1965 when this structure was.
So this is
Probably
non-contributing?
shingles.
You know, I looked at this house and
Let's see, mine.
your existing siding is not 10 inches.
And Easton
Excuse me?
Somebody else is joining.
has
I
joined.
think it's 5. So we were trying to, the house next to us has 10-inch
well,
on
that's-
one side and, okay,
It's, the 10-inch that you're referring to is a double 5 configuration, which adds to 10 inches. So it's not a 10-inch siding, just,
okay,
but the siding that you have on there now is not 10 inches either. It's approximately 7 or 8 inches. I didn't go up and measure it because I can't go on your property without permission. But from the street and by my eye, I could tell it's either 7 or 8 inches. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of getting the write-up correct.
okay.
The shutters on the house now, are they vinyl? Or wood?
Yes,
And you wanna replace them?
Vinyl.
You wanna replace them with more vinyl?
yes. Yes, something that, so these vinyl ones look like they were spray painted. So I'd prefer to get vinyl that isn't spray painted, that's manufactured so it doesn't fade and chip.
Well, we're talking, we're still talking. I'm just asking questions.
They're currently vinyl shutters now,
Yeah.
and she's looking to replace with vinyl again.
and the size of the shutters, I couldn't see measurements.
I did not have any measurements.
We'd replace with the same size that's up there, and I apologize, I don't have the measurements for the shutters.
Because the ones that are up there look like they're pretty thick though.
Yeah, they don't fit. That's just decoration. Not function. Well, there's two sides to that car.
So,
Contributing and non-contributing.
this is a non-contributing structure.
Yes, no.
Right.
And normally we'd like to see what the original siding was.
Well, if it's asbestos, I don't think we wanna go there.
Yeah, well, when they remove your siding and the foam board, the insulating foam board, you'll probably see what was originally put on the house. So, I mean, I don't know how you wanna proceed with this.
What original wood I've seen thus far didn't look like it was in very good condition.
Yeah, well, we don't know that because we haven't seen anything, but, I don't know how the board feels, how they wanna proceed with this.
I think if what's underneath is asbestos shingle covering it, is okay.
We don't know. We don't know that.
Is it wood?
I think she just said it was wood. It didn't look too good.
I believe it's wood, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's not a contributing structure. And we've approved on it.
But it should be a case-by-case basis.
No, I'm just
Um,
saying,
I
she's
agree, I
replacing
agree.
like with a pick.
Do we need more information about the siding, the double 5, or,
Is it double 5?
I think that's what she said.
Yeah, but the siding you're gonna put on, is it double 5?
She mentioned that.
I believe it is a double 5.
Yeah, but see, she keeps saying.
Total of 10 inch. So the piece that the vendor showed me is one solid piece that's 10 inches in total width.
Yeah, that's the
But
total
it-
height, but it's actually broken into 2
Right.
sections of 5 inches each.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's what everybody puts on.
And the shutters.
Double Dutch lounge.
Yeah,
That's what,
yeah, I'm familiar with it.
okay.
Yeah, don't you say 046?
Excuse me?
You say 046?
We could.
I mean, that's what we do.
Okay, yes.
We made, remember the guy from Village Builders? We made him go 046.
I don't know if we did.
Yeah, he did on Tesla.
Okay, would you happen to know the thickness of the new vinyl that you wanna put on? I'm sure you might know.
I don't have that information with me. I can contact the vendor and ask the thickness. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, it's gonna be a decimal. It's gonna be probably a
Okay.
.042.
It says .042 on this spec sheet that she gave us.
Okay, I didn't see that.
It's
Thank you.
.042.
Yes.
Yeah, we would like to require at least the 0.46, if you can get your contractor
Okay.
to up that, to that thickness.
0.46, okay.
.046. Point,
.046,
6,
okay, got it.
I didn't see that.
And that's something the vendor will have, right? That's,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
okay.
And the shutters, do we have any problems with the shutters?
I mean, sure, we'd love wooden shutters, but
And they'd like to be functional, but you can't do it, it's not contributing.
So can we say that if she has the .046 thickness with
Right.
everything else,
Right,
we could approve it?
yes.
yeah, I think we can proceed.
Okay.
all
You
right,
got that?
I got it.
Okay, that's just.
I can make a motion.
Go for it, Cassie.
Certificate of approval, we can issue the certificate of approval if you go to the .046 thickness,
The double 5.
Double 5.
double 5
Double 5 siding,
siding.
and you're good also
The
putting
shutters are okay.
the
Yep.
shutters as described. Thank you. And the trim, because she's asking for trim too,
Yeah.
and we haven't had any conversation on the trim.
I can see that.
PVC coated aluminum trim around the dormers and the gable vents.
And the trim material is,
PVC coated
oh,
aluminum
PVC
trim.
coated, okay.
Hate that. Prefer to go with
Exactly.
an AZAC material or something. This,
Could you ask your contractor if he could use AZAC?
AZAC, how do you spell it?
AZEK.
Okay.
Trim material.
It's a composite.
You don't have
Okay.
to paint it.
I love that.
again, if I think where your motion is, if I may restate it, for the siding, you are good with the vinyl siding at a double 5 style with a .046 thickness, AZAC trim material, and the shutters as presented by the applicant.
Correct.
Correct.
I'll second the motion.
Cool.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tom, aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. The motion's been approved with the stipulations as presented, and good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You'll have to get back to Katie, though, with the,
I will be in touch with Ms. Blackwelder, so we
Okay.
will talk.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, the next item is 214 Jefferson. Is the applicant,
I think they're available on the phone.
okay. Hello, 214 Jefferson?
Yeah. Yes.
Would you state your name and
This
tell
is
us what-
Ann.
Would you like to tell us what your application's all about?
My name is Ann Easton, and we would like to replace our old aluminum siding with vinyl siding that's insulated. We want to replace our existing Anderson windows with other Anderson windows in the 3/1 style. And we would like to put an addition on the back of the house where we have a deck currently, a sun porch addition.
Okay.
It's not listed in the historic register, but do you know about how old the building is?
It was built in 1950.
Okay, thank you.
You'll have to excuse us, we didn't see the rear of the house. I'm kind of looking at the photos you submitted.
It wasn't listed in the 64 register, I guess.
So you have under windows, Anderson windows, but I
Okay.
don't see the specific one you're gonna use.
I could not get a pamphlet on the specific one. It is one that is around the era of the house, where it's the 3 panes above and 1 underneath.
And what is the material the windows are made out of, the frame?
The outside of the windows are fiberglass clad, and the inside is wood. And they would be white.
Are they divided lights, 3 divided lights, or is it a Muntin configuration on the top 3?
There are 3 rectangular panes of glass.
Well, a divided light would be an individual light. Are they individual lights?
I don't understand the question.
Well, they're individually, it's 3 separate pieces, not one
Right.
piece with Muntin, like a fiberglass Muntin or
Not just a
vinyl
crossbar,
Muntin.
what
Yeah.
you're trying to describe.
Yeah.
So, and they're asking the question, is it just one whole pane of glass and then with a piece of wood put over the top to create the 3-pane look? Or is it
It gives the
individual
3
3 panes of glass?
It is the 3-pane look.
Look, one piece.
Right, it's all one look with the wood creating the 3-pane look.
Yeah.
And the wood that separates the 3 panes, is it on the outside of the glass or between the glass?
It comes between the glass.
Any discussion?
Well, the vinyl, just like the previous one, has to be
Yeah.
.046.
We don't have a,
Do you know the thickness of the vinyl siding?
I am not sure what the thickness is. It is an insulated siding.
what style would it be? Is it,
It's a regular 5-inch, and it has the grain that looks like wood in a navy.
is it a clapboard style?
Harvey Klein?
Or is it a, would they have a profile in it, which they call a Dutch lap?
We don't
It's
have
clapboard.
Clapboard?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
hmm
Will it be the same design as what's on there now?
Right now, the aluminum is 4-inch thick.
Why?
Right. You've got 4-inch siding, double 4. And then she's gonna go to a double 5. Correct. You're gonna go to a double 5, is that correct?
I think it's just called 5-inch insulated siding.
No, when he says double 5, he means it comes in sections where each strip is 5 inches. Because what you
Okay,
have
I
on
do
there
believe
now
it
is
comes
only
like
4
that.
inches.
Right, right. And yes, it comes in like double.
Okay, it has to be double 5, and it has to be 0.046 in thickness.
.046.
Correct. The other thing that, when you change the windows, you're gonna have to change the trim, and the trim has to be AZAC as you list. But they also make
Yeah.
a window stool that goes along with that window, which gives you an 1.75 inch window stool or sill on the outside.
The casing has to be wider also, there's no casings on these.
And there's no casing on your window.
But they never had it.
We never had casing on our windows.
That's, I can see that in the picture, but what I'm saying is that the windows would have to have casing.
Yes, we're going to trim them with AZAC.
Yeah, I see one on the back. Oh,
Yeah, right
that's
here on the
casing.
front, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so it would have to be, as your colored drawing here of the front of the house, that gives you the window trim, which would be AZAC, and the stool would go on the window. Okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
And it should measure 1.75 to 2 inches.
The stool.
Okay.
The AZAC should be at least 3.5 wide.
And the AZAC should be 3.5 inches wide,
Okay.
okay?
At least.
Minimum 3.5. It could be wider, but minimum of 3.5,
Okay.
okay?
That sounds good.
And then we also need to talk about the front porch and front steps, and and she wants to do a cinder block foundation for that sunroom piece.
You know,
Yes, we're going to make the foundation the same as the current house, the white cinder block. And for the front porch, we have an old concrete peely paint slab. We were going to cover it with Trex and white AZAC as a band around it, so you don't see the peely paint anymore.
So, right, yeah, she's looking to match similar materials to that deck, to be on the front porch and steps.
correct.
Yes. So I just want to make sure that's all part of this application.
Yes. Just want to put on the front.
And the steps.
And how about the steps?
And the steps too, she wants to do Trex steps. Yes,
AZAC.
yes. Trex is what she's asking for.
It's the same,
Same thing, right.
okay? So I would make a motion that we approve it if she changes the siding
for the siding. Your windows, you're asking, you're approving, let's see if I get this right, 1 3/4 to 2 inches for the window stool. Is that what you called it?
1 3/4 to 2 inch.
To 2 inch window stool, window casing, and a trim of 3.5 inches wide, and that should be with AZAC trim
Or similar.
or similar.
Correct.
And you're also approving her request as presented for the front porch, front steps, and the sunroom for the foundation.
Correct.
Well, did we talk about the sunroom?
No, I don't think.
We didn't talk about
Just
the sunroom.
the foundation.
I mean, we don't have, is that gonna have a roof over the sunroom, or is it gonna be enclosed, or is it gonna be screened in? How's
It's going to be a poured foundation with the cinder block, and it's going to have a roof over it and the same siding and windows in that.
It's an addition.
Yeah.
Yes,
We don't really have a full drawing of that.
There's a drawing, there's a drawing.
I wasn't going to pay someone to do a full drawing if it wasn't approved.
Sure. And again, she is looking to replace the deck that was back there, which was 160 square feet. So she is looking to take that off and replace it with the sunroom, which is at 288 square feet. So it's an increase of 128 square feet that she's looking to add to the house. Yes, she is looking to enclose it and add a roof to the sunroom.
It's a house. It's an addition.
That kind of puts us in a position where we don't know exactly what's going there. We don't know what the roof pitch is. We don't know,
It's going to be the same as the existing roof pitch. It just extends more towards the garage, the whole width of the back of the house.
Yeah, so you can see the pitch here, and it'll just.
Yeah.
and that's gonna be left open, exposed on the 3 sides, or, I'm not sure I'm
Now,
following it.
you've got the blue colored pictures.
This is supposed to be it here?
Those, yeah, that's what it'll look like.
You see that, Mike? This is actually coming out from here.
That's one side.
So now we can
Yeah, you can
Well,
see
yeah, I got
the
it.
house.
Yeah.
Not a
So
separate,
it's really just an extension
an
of the
extension,
house.
yeah, not a separate.
Exactly.
Straight along the same line, same roof,
This roof.
everything.
Exactly.
And how about the exhaust fan? Is that gonna be moved out?
That will be moved to the roof.
Okay. The metal awning goes, I see, okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, the materials will be the same as the materials on the house. The windows will be same.
Exactly.
As the windows on the house. So if we've approved the
Mhm.
windows and materials for the house, it would include the sunroom.
Correct. They
Yes.
all have to be compatible.
So, the only other thing was the foundation, which will be cinder block, just like the house.
Right.
So, I think we can include that in our motion. I don't remember the original motion there.
So again, your motion encompass for the siding, you are approving a double 5 with a .046 thickness vinyl. Windows need to be 1 3/4 to 2 inches for the window stool. Trim 3.5 inches wide. Window casings, all made of AZAC or similar material. Front porch and front step Trex decking. Sunroom to have a cinder block foundation similar to the house. And the roof pitch would need to be the same as the house. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so. You're doing
The
it.
foundation should be probably podged. I mean, we just don't want,
Well, they're matching the foundation on the existing
oh,
house.
that looks podged, I think, or painted.
Cinder block.
Yeah, but
It's painted white
yeah.
It's just painted, right?
currently.
So we'll indicate the cinder block should match the existing house cinder block.
Yes.
Right.
That's part of your motion,
Right.
Okay.
okay?
Match existing.
So I have Kathy making that motion.
So
Yes. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion's passed with the conditions indicated, and I guess you'll be in touch with Katie
Yes.
and good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, the next is item G, 635 Monroe. Yeah, music.
Is it a break?
Hello?
So you need to use the restrooms. We have a 5-minute break.
Yeah, is everyone else call again? Are you expecting anybody else to be on there? Okay, try calling back in and just in case, maybe they dropped off.
Maybe that's their holding music.
That's the waiting room
Yeah,
music.
great, that's lovely.
So, 'cause I don't know everyone who's here in our space today, is our next applicant present? Yeah. Or they on the phone? You're here, okay. Yes. So if we want to move forward while Tracy handles our telecommunication needs.
Okay. Margaret Austin.
Would you like to proceed? State your name, please.
Sure. Buffy Oslin was 635 Monroe.
Okay.
As you all probably know, this was the old school. It's got the flat front and the flat back. Okay. This winter, the reason why I'm here is this winter we repointed all the brick. And in doing so, we had to remove the existing wooden compromised deck that was on the back. I've submitted a couple pictures. If you don't have them, I've got them on my tablet if you need to see them. We needed to remove the deck because they had to be able to repoint all the way down to the ground. Okay? In going back, we want to go back with TimberTech composite decking. I have a sample here. We want to screen it in. The previous deck was open and didn't have a roof on it, and we really were not able to use it very much because of the intensity of the sun and mosquitoes. In going back, we want to go back with screened in, Screeny's brand. We want to put in railing, fairway PVC railing. What have I forgotten? And metal, standing seam metal roof.
So we don't have a picture or a design.
Kathy, we omitted, one item did miss the packet, and it is that actual drawing, so it is passing along right now. I apologize for that.
No, that's okay. That's all I need.
Didn't get scanned, sorry about that.
Basically, we want the new replacement deck to go the full width of the back as the previous one did. There's 2 doors that go out of the back of the house, and they're almost 3 feet off the ground. So we've got to accommodate both of those doors. We'll have steps coming off of the main door heading back toward the alley. I guess that's north? And then we'll have steps off the side, with a different door.
Same place the existing steps were.
Right. Right, we're just pretty much redoing the way it was, the footprint.
Where does the roof,
Yeah, where does the metal roof?
Okay, what we're going to do, what we want to do, is include those eyebrows. You see those really cute eyebrows above the windows? We want to include that inside of the porch area.
We're just talking, I'm looking at the picture that you have. Do you know what the pitch of the roof is?
I don't.
Okay.
You see this,
The plan shows the railing with the screening. Will the screening be on the inside of the railing or the outside of the railing?
Outside of the railing. The railing will be on the inside. Right? Just like the front porch. Just like the front porch. Yeah.
And the railing material?
It's Fairway brand, it's PVC vinyl. And there's a picture showing the profile. It's not there. I have an attachment that shows the materials. Do you see that?
Here's the materials.
The roof above where this porch is gonna be is flat. That back section,
Yeah,
that
that's
section there is pretty much flat.
at the very top.
to there.
Above the window.
No,
No, I mean.
he's talking about the
he says
existing roof of the second floor. He's just telling you
That
it's,
back section is the flat roof.
But that's not what you're proposing
No.
for the roof
That's
over
not
this.
what we're proposing.
No.
And I think that's what they're asking is what would be the pitch of that roof?
of the new roof.
Pitches on the house, kind of,
But just the screen porch, what's,
Yes.
I'm not sure what that pitch is gonna be, we're gonna end up at, is it going up 8 foot in front?
will it go above the windows here?
Yes.
Just above
See
the.
those eyebrows?
Will it go all the way up to that?
No, it will not go up to that conduit thing. But we want to include the masonry that I refer to as eyebrows. We want to include that within the porch, and that is, I can't remember how high that is, but that's the determining factor, and then we come down to 8 feet at the front.
I think it's 12 feet. It's gonna be a little bit above, I guess, where the old one was. There's some-
Well, the old one didn't have a roof.
no, there was no roof.
This lighter color though, is that this?
I think that's the new point.
That looks like an electrical conduit.
It is, it's an electrical conduit, and that was already on the
Okay,
house.
okay, I see.
And we're not going anywhere that high.
Okay.
So you're only going like a foot above the eyebrow.
Probably, yeah. Just enough so that we can appreciate the eyebrow when we're on the porch. We didn't want to break it.
No, right,
It's-
exactly.
Yeah.
So the deck materials are okay. The railing, I mean, each component, I think we're okay with all the materials.
Yeah, you just have to run the deck board perpendicular to the house this way versus the house being this way.
And we were gonna do that.
The plan.
This way, perpendicular.
Yeah, but we were gonna add a picture frame around it. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And the vinyl lattice on the bottom, what is our,
It's in the rear of the house, I mean, there is some leeway.
okay,
Usually we don't like the lattice in the front of the house.
so,
We just really wanna keep critters out of there.
Yeah.
okay,
Critters, yeah.
Yeah.
cats.
Would be, if we changed it, we might go to a white board.
That would be fine also.
That would be good. Either one is fine.
materials, I would make a motion that we approve based on materials that you're using, the pitch, that it's gonna go up above the eyebrows,
A foot or more.
a foot or more,
No,
okay,
wow.
and the railing should be inside, outside? Of this
On the screen?
Yeah. Screen inside or outside?
I
Inside.
think it's, I can't remember.
It's inside.
Okay.
So the railing would be on the outside of
The
the
screen would be on the inside of the,
Oh,
Of the decking.
Which makes no sense, really.
Right, so your screening would be inside of
Right.
your, inside your deck,
you mean railing?
And the railing would be outside
and the
of it.
railing would be
Right.
outside of it.
right,
Okay,
got it?
yeah,
Because you couldn't put it on the outside.
that's the way it is on the front porch, that's why I said that.
The front porch, what looks like railing, slats coming down, it's on the screen is on the outside of that.
Yeah. But you want us to put the screen on the inside and then have the railing on the
Correct.
outside?
It's more visible.
It works better functionally that way.
And if you have the screening on the outside, you're blurring out the railing.
No, I disagree.
It's visually.
You do?
Yeah, if you have the
Okay.
screening on the inside, you can't use the rail.
Right.
It's on the inside of the,
I mean,
Also,
bottom line is the screen has to be on the inside.
right?
That doesn't disagree.
I can't.
okay, but a consideration for us is that we have dogs, and if the railing was on the inside, the dogs would be less likely to paw
You know
at the
they make
screen.
dog-proof screen wire?
And we're going to use that.
It's indestructible.
We're going to use the pet screen.
You don't know the dogs, right?
Yeah.
It really works.
Well, I have some at home, and it's been violated. So,
Really?
yeah, yeah, but we have a lot of family dogs that come
Yeah,
to our
that's
house.
a serious big dog with short legs.
It's a persistent dog. But anyway,
But the regulations do say that the railing has to go on the outside.
Okay.
Now, you could do something else, you could put plexiglass on the inside or something.
I mean, this is just decorative railing, really.
no, it's not.
That's
Well-
okay, don't argue with it.
Yeah,
Not in front of the kids.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
afraid.
aesthetically, it looks better, and that's what the regs say, so.
okay. Screen on the inside, railing on the outside.
Right.
Got it.
It's in the specs somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So if you do that,
So
I
that
would,
would be like a little lip of deck on the outside on which the, got it.
Okay, you got all this?
I got you at this point. I was trying to see if I could find a picture of the front of their house. I don't have a good Google Maps picture, so I can't help. Keep going.
I think it's a visual thing.
You can match whatever you do.
What?
If it's on the inside and the front, put it on the inside and the back, or vice versa.
I thought you just said I couldn't do that.
Well, I think we're trying to get to some consistency, so if
I
you,
see. I'll wait.
so we're hearing from the board at this point,
It's preferable to have the screen on the inside.
it's preferable that way, but again, we
If
were
you
asking you to
have it-
match what you have on the front.
Right.
The way you have it installed on your front, do the same on the back.
We're trying to give you a leeway.
I appreciate that.
Okay,
I do. I just want to be sure I get it right.
okay.
I
Whatever
can,
you
I
have on
can
the front.
match on what I have on the front.
Correct, right.
Okay.
It makes you happy, it makes us happy.
Oh, good.
Well, then we would approve everything as stated.
Right.
Everything is stated with just the one caveat that the installation of the screening will be equitable to how it is done on the front porch.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, did we vote?
No, we didn't.
No, I just have a motion from
Yeah.
Kathy. I need a second.
I'll second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tom, aye.
Motion's been approved. Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
got the original schoolhouse thing, too.
Yeah. Okay, next. 211 Mason Avenue. Is the applicant present?
Hi, good evening.
The
I'm Claudine Pierce from Peacock Cottage, and I'm representing the owners of Caicos Surf Shop.
And I would probably recognize the building. It's one of the few buildings on Mason that has not gotten any love in the last few years. The owners purchased it early January. They have been working hard on renovating the interior of the building with a group of local contractors, and they're pretty excited to get going on the exterior. What they would like to do is remove the lovely blue vertical plywood on the outside. We have seen from the interior that there were original transom windows above the storefront. They would like to replace those. You can see that on the line drawing. They are intending on keeping the existing glass bays and doors. The biggest thing that we're dealing with right now is that underneath the vertical plywood, there is structural glass, which was probably installed sometime maybe 40s or 50s. And when they installed it, they used a mastic, which are their big 3-inch globs pretty much every 6 inches. And they're also metal fasteners that have been drilled directly into the masonry. Also, on the bottom of the bay windows, there's like an asphalt coating under that structural glass. They would like to repair or take it all off and try to restore the masonry, but we're not very optimistic due to the amount of holes we're seeing in we've taken off a lot of the plywood and looked. So if we cannot keep the masonry, if it's too damaged, then we are looking at replacing it with like a traditional stucco that would be painted to match the yellow brick. There is in this application a request to do some revisions, modifications on the rear that were for security. The rear door was rotted out and the windows would not close, but I think that was already approved by zoning, so that is no longer a part of the application. There's also the sign that is shown on here. It's an aluminum sign. It is 3.5 feet by 12 feet, which is under the zoning requirements, meets all zoning requirements. And we'd like to install 2 porcelain gooseneck lights. They would be just lighting the sign themselves, so they're dark sky compliant.
So the picture you have here of the new scope, that's exactly what it would look like?
Exactly, correct.
Different.
A different color. We're going to do black. We'd like it not to be able to see it during the day and just to kind of blend with the facade. But at night to give them some light.
How do you propose to remove that mastic that you put?
I've read a lot about it. The National Preservation has a whole, a very long article about it.
Is it some sort of chemical solid?
They say you can try. So we're going to try to remove it with a solvent. They gave a couple different solvents that might work. We're going to try that. My bigger concern is the metal fasteners that are just kind of drilled randomly into the masonry. And they're you can see I've got one picture in here that shows them. So we really don't know, but what we're trying to achieve is if we can't restore the masonry, that we have an option so that we don't have to come back before the board.
What's your option?
It's doing a traditional stucco over, and that would only be, so if you look at the elevation, there'd be very little of it, because the front here, this is all going to be your transom windows. So what you're going to be seeing is underneath the bays in these 3 locations and to the left and the right, which is about, it's about a 16-inch wide strip on the left and the right.
The floor that's right before the entrance doors
The floor?
on the exterior side?
Correct.
What is that?
It looks like it's like an 8x8 clay tile, and that's staying.
Isn't that the historic tile?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I have it in my own house. It's 1920s. You find it a lot, but that is remaining. They do not want to change anything on the existing bays, existing doors. They just want to get rid of the T111
Sure, but
painted.
the ceramic tile's gonna stay.
Oh, no, we're not touching that. Yeah. They've actually put a lot of work into rebuilding the bays on the inside in order to keep them as they were.
So they're gonna try their hardest. could it be an acid might work on that?
I don't know if, I get worried about using acid
Yeah.
on
How about
historic
an
brick.
acetone or something?
There are a couple softener, they say might work, but I just don't know, because the brick is also pretty brittle.
Yeah.
It's just had so much put on it over the years. I mean, that's definitely their intention.
It's mastic though.
It is
Not
mastic.
cement.
It is mastic, as far as I know. It
Correct.
looks like
No, it-
mastic, and that's how the structural panels were installed.
Correct. That's what I'm telling you, it's mastic, not cement.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I agree.
No. I just don't know, it's been here a very long time, when we start taking off, what is the face of the masonry gonna look like?
If you can get that off, then how you gonna, work on that brick? I'm sure you don't wanna leave it black like that.
We
it's
would
not very-
prefer not to.
Yeah, I'm sure. What would be your plan at that point?
I don't know because I don't wanna use anything abrasive on the brick, because that's just gonna take the face of it off. And at that point, I think it's just gonna be a step-by-step process, is getting somebody in, a good mason who knows what he's doing, and
So
trying different things.
is that your plan? I mean, I'm just trying to see.
That is our plan, to start with that, and if it does not work, then we wanna have a backup, so we don't have to
So
come
what
back.
you really want to do is to clean the brick
Mhm.
so that the brick would be exposed.
Correct,
All where it is underneath of the stucco or whatever
Correct.
that is at the bottom.
correct. If possible,
Then if you can't do that, then you want to stucco it,
correct,
all the brick that, like the area there.
correct, that's
You're
blue,
gonna take all
The
that blue
bulkhead
off,
and up the sides.
correct.
so that you really refurbish, new stuff would be stucco, if you can't clean the
Correct.
brick.
Correct, but we'd have to take off the mastic anyways, just in order to get
Exactly.
good adherence,
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
And they're gonna put, what you're really gonna see too is the transom going back in. I think that's really gonna change the face of this building.
Right.
So the issue is really, would we approve stucco?
Yes,
No,
yes.
I think that's what,
I mean,
Yeah,
it's not our,
hopefully,
it's not our
we won't
preference.
have to, but in the event that she can't, then, so we have to consider that.
Let me ask you this, that top brick, that's a veneer, a thin veneer brick?
No,
No?
it does
looked-
not appear to be.
I thought I could see that from the street, that was not a full brick.
No, it's even with the other masonry, and on the inside, the wall is 8 inches thick.
The parapet wall.
It looks like it, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't
No,
called
I
up
was just
there.
thinking if that was a veneer, maybe you could do the veneer over the existing.
Well, what
brick.
happens, if you look close, they are flush, there's not a big difference in them. And I have not looked into that, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
my other question or observation would be that the sign covers up that detail right in the middle of the wall.
It does.
It
Is
looks
there any
like
way
the
you
sign would go under that.
Yeah, couldn't you cut that sign down, I don't know, about 6 inches or something?
Well, the old sign, if you look, that doesn't cover it, and that
Exactly.
would be the size of the new one.
No, hers is.
It's a
hers
little
covers.
bit above it.
Her new
Because
one
we
covers.
only have, I think if we look, we don't quite have that large of that sign there probably is about 2.5 feet by
You see on her
8 feet.
drawing, that
It
detail
does
is
cover that.
gone.
Or will cover a portion of it.
Yeah, it would cover part of it.
I don't think you lose too much in the height if you can get underneath that detail. I think it's important on the building, especially if you have to end up going with the stucco. Because the most we could save, the better, you know?
So if she can clean the brick up, it'll just be the exposed brick with the new transom windows.
Correct.
And the bottom also. If she can't clean the brick, it'll be stucco. We also want her to make the sign a little bit lower so that it doesn't cover all that detail there.
The brick detail on the side, yeah.
And, the doors, the back window and doors.
Those have already been
Yeah, those are
approved
done.
by zoning.
Okay.
They could not secure the building.
Do you
So
have,
really it just comes down to.
It was actually pretty bad.
If she can't fix the brick.
do you have an experienced mason looking at this job?
We do. We have a mason who's
I mean,
worked
someone
on,
that knows restoration?
yes,
Because, I'd like to really try to save that brick if possible.
we all agree on that.
So are we okay with approving if she can't save the brick? Can she do
I just
something?
would like to have some kind of, somebody to maybe explain to us
Verify,
at a later date or in the
I
process.
mean, I would be happy when we're in the process to
Yeah.
have one of you come by and look at what we're doing.
Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, that is, it's just what I don't wanna slow down them
No,
being
I
able to
get it.
move forward, because it looks terrible right now.
Yeah.
And they're trying to open for Memorial Day weekend, and they're really anxious to improve it. So I just don't wanna have to come back in
We
2
get it.
months, because
Time
it
is
took
of the
2 months
essence.
to get in this time,
Yeah.
right?
No, we understand
Yeah.
them totally. And
But I'd be
we're not trying
happy
to make a
to-
hardship on you at all.
Right, I mean, and they're very anxious and excited to get open and get rid of the turquoise T111.
So it goes back to if she can
Right.
save the brick, she can.
Right.
If she can't save the brick, can we approve stucco?
Well, I like the stipulation being that we would be involved with
Yeah,
the,
right.
So she would have to come back for additional.
or at least
approval.
inform us that we could maybe meet at the store.
Just like we did at the beer garden.
So it would be additional approval.
Yeah, conditional, we can give you a conditional approval upon, we can come out, Katie,
I'm listening. I'm trying to make sure I understand.
do you wanna get, would 10 days give you enough time?
Actually, no, because right now what they're trying to do is get the store open for Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
So I would like at least to have 30 days just for them to get open, because when we start taking everything off, then it's gotta be done, I don't want it being done in the middle of
No,
Memorial Day
we're-
weekend, right?
We're not trying to impede you.
No, what I would like to do is I would like them to have the time to open the store and then to start pulling off on just like one side and under maybe one bay and experiment with that before we pull it all off.
Okay, so Katie, we could give her conditional approval upon her contacting you for us to come for the inspection of the exterior of the front,
Okay.
right?
And we can approve the rest, the
Right.
replacement of the transoms and the sign.
Right, everything
Today.
but that.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right?
sure.
To verify stucco.
No, so the only thing I would ask though is once we're in the process of this removal, I mean, we're removing the mastic, pulling out, and if we can't get the black off and we can't, if the brick is damaged, we will all be able to make a decision
That
at one
day
time?
we will.
Okay, correct,
Yeah.
okay.
Right, I mean, if we see that you can't get it, but we're not trying to impede your opening by no means.
Oh, no,
But when you say 30 days, then you have 30 days before you're gonna start on the exterior, taking them.
well, I would like, I can't guarantee that they'll be ready in a week, because they're extremely busy right now, just
Right,
trying
sure.
to get the inside
Understandable.
inspected.
Right,
So I'd like them to have the time to open the store,
right,
and then for us to pull one side off and see, because it's gonna take some time to experiment with is there solvent that will bring it off,
right,
take it off, or it's just making it worse behind that?
correct.
So I would like the 30 days before we get you guys back.
Okay, there you go.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the transoms and the sign and the removal of the wood off the brick. And at that point, we would like to reconsider once a determination has been made on the condition of the brick as to what to do next.
Right, and it really boils down to, the determination has to be that you can't go with the brick. And if you do the brick, that's fine, we don't have to come out or anything.
Yeah, if it all comes off and it's very
Yeah,
clean,
which is what you hope is
I'll
gonna
send
happen,
you a
yeah.
picture.
And that's what I said, once
Right.
we get to removing that, if it's determined the brick can't be saved,
Right,
then we will
that's it, yeah. Right.
Okay.
We'll meet you at the site.
Sure.
Then it doesn't
The
impede.
condition of the sign should be below the
Right.
detail.
I said that with the sign made,
Okay.
so that it does not cover the little.
The height of sign needs to be reduced to retain the building detail.
The detail in the center of the
Right.
wall. And also the lighting, the dark sky lighting.
Yes, that's in there. That's part
It's
of
in
our
there.
application.
Where will those be? On either side of the?
There's a picture of another
Yeah.
one in
Yeah,
there.
it will be on, it
It'll be on
will,
top.
A gooseneck lamp.
correct, it will not get into the detailing of the brick.
Correct.
Okay. So it's gonna be on top of the sign?
Right.
Side.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And it is dark sky
Just to
compliant.
light the sign.
Okay.
I second.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, can we get a vote?
Oops, they need a vote.
Aye.
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 All right.
Been approved with conditions. Okay.
Okay, clearly. Sure.
Let's see. Okay, the next one is 301 Mason, pre-application. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Come up.
Mr. Allen is here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Chris Elam. I'm an architect with GMF and Associates, and I'm here representing Mr. and Mrs. Shepherd in their application for exterior renovations to the 301 Mason Avenue. It's a series of changes to the facade, all in service to the larger project, which is a pretty extensive remodel, renovation of the second floor to convert what was previously, it's been unoccupied for some time, but we speculate was last occupied as offices, and we're converting to 2 apartment units. And so, and we've been through the conditional use, process for that change of use. And so the changes to the exterior are in service to trying to create more amenable, apartment conditions. So first off, we're proposing to convert the existing canopy along at the front of the building, and in the same size and approximately the same height to create a balcony. And so in order to create the structure necessary for that, we're proposing steel columns to support the canopy, and with a metal railing around that balcony. And there's an existing railing at the ground floor, so we feel that's going to be complementary. And obviously the intention there is just to create balcony space for they're pretty cramped units, honestly, we expect these to be very nice apartment units. Both of them will be under 1,000 square feet. And so the additional square footage and occupiable outdoor space we think is an important amenity to offer. As part of that process, there are 3 existing windows along the front facade facing onto Mason Avenue, and we're proposing to leave one of the windows in place, the center window, and then to replace the 2 on either side, at either end, with new doors that are that should fit into the width should fit within the same opening. And we're proposing to use transom above those so that the head height of the existing windows can be maintained. And then the sort of second major proposal is that along Strawberry Avenue we've got a series of 4 windows which are currently in a state of some disrepair. And we're proposing to expand those openings to create Juliet-style balconies, so French doors with a transom, again matching the head height of the existing windows so that there's a consistency there, and proposing to replicate the head detail that you know is consistently in place over the existing windows, and to install railings at those Juliet balconies that would match the proposed railing at the new front balcony. So I've listed some of the details about the doors to be replaced. We're proposing to use aluminum clad wood doors in order to get as close as possible to the existing is obviously wood, but the aluminum clad being a much more typical exterior finish on these. We're showing with transom windows as I mentioned. Yeah, all railings to be steel, painted black, and we're expecting that all of the trim materials on the exterior of the balconies, both the Juliet and the larger front balcony, will be wood fascia trims painted white.
Okay. So this is the old Savage Drugstore building.
Yes, I think it's Savage Farms.
Did you know that?
I did not know. Is that right? Well,
This is a photo of it from 1824. You wouldn't recognize it today.
There's still the tile as you enter the pharmacy.
yeah. So I've spent a fair amount of time, crawling around Lemon Tree Gallery and then obviously the upstairs. Oh, and I forgot to mention, we are proposing a restoration of the old Coca-Cola mural, which on the side is starting to sort of expose itself,
Hidden by the tree.
and it's still mostly covered in stucco.
The drugstore, about the 4 Italianate windows along Strawberry Street. So it's documented in history, I guess.
It's a fascinating structure, to be sure.
It's really a fantastic building. And the concept is excellent. I'm sure you did a great job on the concept. New Orleans, Louisiana, right here.
Yeah. My wife's from Louisiana.
Is she really? Well, she contributed, I'm sure, in the thought process. I don't have too much of a problem with Strawberry Street, which is this west side of the building, because it's a mirror image almost of across the street.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a problem with that. I think that aesthetically would tie in pretty much. I have an unbelievable amount of problems with the front of the building.
Really?
Yeah.
So the concept of a balcony, generally?
Yeah. The side looks beautiful. Ties in really well. The front, I don't care for it all. Well, I mean, but my opinion.
But is there a specific?
Yeah, is it a matter of detailing, or because we do have obviously column-supported balconies, just across Strawberry Street?
I think the columns are, we just got this package Tuesday, or I got mine Friday, I guess. And you can see the amount of work we've had. I haven't had a great deal of time to sit in front of the building and look to see how the columns look awful thin to create some feel of what Cape Charles is. To me, it doesn't tie into Cape Charles at all. Okay? I mean, that opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, we're open to opinions, and
The
honestly,
side, I can't say anything bad about the side. I think you did an excellent job tying in the two streets. That it's a mirror image if you look across the street.
right, and there was some intent, some intentionality with that. I'd encourage you to look at the balconies on that same building across the street. The front balconies have very thin columns, and my intention, you mentioned New Orleans. It popped to mind some elaborate, columns or more columns, could be an option. And still are, if you all thought that would be a preferable approach.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, we're not in New Orleans.
No, exactly. So my thought was to try to replicate exactly what was adjacent to the extent possible, And there's certainly small columns, you know, but I think that the.
Well, I think what's throwing us off is the existing railings on the bottom. There's none really in town that kind of sort of match that. So when you duplicate it up on the upper level on a balcony, it really sets it off in my, in my mind. I had a couple of questions.
The existing railing is not the same as what he has in this picture.
No, but it's metal, it's black, it's, it's definitely gonna be different, yeah. But to me, it sets it off, being on the lower level and the upper level. You don't really see that in any other structure in town. To me, the doors on the Juliet-style windows, do they fit in the existing openings?
No, those will be an expansion of the openings.
You're gonna expand them which way, height and width?
Not height, but in width. We felt like it was really important for the interior of these units that are, if you could walk around inside there, you realize they are absolutely light starved. And so the expansion, the increase in glass, we felt was important, and then the, creation.
So you're gonna alter the width, not the height?
Correct.
On all four of those. How about in the front?
The front, we're matching the height and width on the two doors being replaced. Obviously, they'll come down to the floor, so we'll be, changing the sill condition. But taking pains to maintain the head height by using a transom above the doors.
If you eliminated the transom on the Juliet side, would you be able to fit in your doors? I don't know the height of the existing, so that's why I'm asking.
We wouldn't be able to fit in the width for Juliet, so they're a little over 3 feet wide. The heights, they're actually really tall. They're 9 feet, a little over 9 feet 9-foot head heights on all the windows. So a little over 30-inch windows along Mason Avenue, which we can accommodate a door, a 2.6 door. And then along Strawberry, they're a little bit wider, but still not big enough to accommodate a pair of doors. So that's why we're proposing to widen the openings.
Couldn't you put in a window, French window, instead of a door to open the same way?
Well, the idea is to be able to walk out there.
I'm asking him a question, that's all. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think the idea of being able to open the doors felt, like an amenity that we were, that we're in pursuit of, but then also just the increasing the quantity of glazing felt important, given how dark these units are, and given that we don't have the opportunity, or didn't assume we would want to add more windows. We're working within the rhythm and number of existing openings.
How much wider are these going to be?
So the French doors are a pair of 2.6, so increasing it by a little under 30 inches. But we're going to be centered on the existing, I think, is the expectation, and then so increasing by a little less than 15 inches in each direction.
You want to go 15 inches in each direction?
Right, so the existing window is about 33 inches wide, and then we're going up to a pair of 2.6.
Whoa. And where's the top detail going to fit in that opening? How's that going to look?
We're going to have to recreate so this has, if you look at the existing conditions, and we've included some pictures of zoomed in on those windows. It's got a pretty elaborate, pretty ornamental header condition. And so we're going to, in order to make that work with the wider opening, we're going to have to recreate that. And the proposal is to recreate that out of EFIS.
What?
EFIS, the simulated stucco. I spoke to a stucco installer, and they said that the curve, the radius, is something they didn't feel that they could recreate with the sort of modern built-up.
Right.
So the only way they could do that would be out of the EFIS.
So essentially, you're eliminating the existing detail on Strawberry Street.
On Strawberry Street, that's correct. So the three facing onto Mason Avenue, we'd be able to retain the existing, and then the four along Strawberry.
I mean, as a historical perspective, that just that just ruins the whole side of that building. I mean, you're eliminating what's documented in a book. You know, that's its history right there. You know, I don't get how you can
Did
just.
you see the pictures of the detail, the addendum that was sent to show the condition of the windows?
Oh, no,
I'm not talking about the windows. I'm talking about the width.
This part.
Right, but I'm saying it also shows that.
Yeah, but not the glass part.
No,
We're
no, I'm
not
talking, it
about
shows
that.
the whole thing.
Yeah, that's not, this is what we're talking about right here. This is what he's gonna do away with. That.
Just saying.
But not the window, we're talking about this part.
This is
right
gonna be
here.
expanded 15 inches on each side, and this is gonna be
On those
recreated.
pictures, you can see
Yeah.
it's in bad condition.
But,
Yeah, but it's historic.
the other thing though, too,
Replace it with white.
the marquee next door looks like the visibility of at least half of it is gonna be obscured by what's being proposed, so that people walking east there on Mason wouldn't be able to see the marquee.
By way of our railing,
The, you know, the railings up, the second floor railings there and,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, well, so the existing condition is, you can see it here, the existing condition has the awning, and then obviously a, decent-sized tree and a ground floor railing. So I mean, we're really, as far as visibility, we're adding the railing approximately, we're on top of where the existing awning is.
How about the crepe myrtles on Strawberry and Mason? How are you gonna deal with those?
I don't expect that those are going to be impacted by the work.
They seem to obscure the view from the Juliet window, at least the first one.
Yeah, it's, I agree they might obscure it slightly, and, no doubt there'll be a little bit of trimming back in order to execute the work, but there was no expectation of modifying the trees. So the header detail you have concerns with, and the
Yes, I do.
replication, the replication of it, is that not
It's the size of it and the replication that you're creating a false sense of history. These windows, like I said,
They're destroying the building.
yeah, I mean, it's been documented, like I pointed out earlier, that's why I wanted to show you this, that it's been mentioned in books, these windows on Strawberry Street. Now they'll never be the same if you wanna do what you wanna do. And they'll never be able to go back. That's, as far as the front ones, I'm glad that you're keeping the existing widths. I mean, and you're keeping the existing detail on the top. As far as the balcony and stuff, I mean, that's another matter. I mean, you're adding space for the apartments, I get it. Does it fit in with the regular streetscape of the town on this particular block? I don't think so. So, I mean, that's what I have to say.
Well, what about the hotel Petros?
Well, we're not into whataboutism.
No, I'm just saying, when you're saying the character,
It's not on the same block. And if you want to talk about whataboutism, the people on the Historical Review Board, if my history's correct, turned that down, and that went to town council and got passed.
they turned down the plexiglass, but the overall design was approved.
Well, it still got turned down, and they all quit. So, I mean, is that the same as this? Every building is an individual project.
So you're not okay with the windows, and you're not okay with the overall design, is that?
I'm still working on the front, because to me, it doesn't fit.
So I wonder,
the streetscape.
I don't have the knowledge of the history of, what was approved and not
The only
approved.
thing I
and
can say
I wonder
is,
if
it's been bastardized already, because it was changed through the years, okay?
This building was.
Yes, that's why I showed you the original. That would be the only thing in your favor as far as I'm concerned. But that does not include the 4 windows on Strawberry. Those are set, in the historical record. Now, the front of the building has been changed already, so, to me, that goes in your favor. I can rationalize, having another change that doesn't really
So what would you
change
like to
the
see?
history of it.
When we strive to complement and integrate into the character of the historic district, without the knowledge of prior decisions or opinions about the buildings that have been approved, we were very conscientious about matching the building across the street, across Strawberry, and as far as the Juliet balconies, the type of railing, the width of those openings. Which seems to me, that's working within the context of the adjacent neighborhood.
I kind of agree with you, but I'm having a big problem with the Strawberry windows, changing the doors and opening it an extra 30 inches. And how are you extending the cantilever? How is that being done? You want to be able to step out?
No, I think we're so what I'm showing is just very shallow, Juliet balcony, so really just not a proper cantilever, and not providing that extension would really be enough for the railing to mount onto.
So
and
what
to
is that,
set a sill.
what kind of material is that?
It would be, a wood fascia. As far as the structure of it, I think that we would be framing it out of wood, but I think that there's very limited, amount of protrusion, less than 6 inches, like I say, enough to mount the rail to and to accommodate the sill of the doors, which obviously there would be in-swinging doors, so we're not really proposing to project out.
And those are full light doors?
Yes.
I guess you're opposed to using a wood, not a wood, a existing opening size. I think that what you said is 2.6 there?
A little over 33 inches.
All right, so.
If you're really not gonna use it as a doorway,
It's aesthetic, that's what it is.
it's aesthetics.
Yeah, so
And then for ventilation,
well, the increasing the
Light.
Light was
And
the
ventilation.
primary driver, and then yes, the
Ventilation.
aesthetic. We really feel that it's. I hear you about. I understand the concern about the historic, quality of those windows, but the idea was that it's an improvement to the facade as far as the architectural character in the context of the.
It may be improvement, but it's not in the historical context. It's not.
No, understood. The primary driver was to increase the amount of glazing to make these, more livable units. And then if we're looking to increase the glazing area, then that in my mind sort of triggered a change from the existing windows. As does, we could replace the windows, of course, but that doesn't. That doesn't facilitate these concerns about the amount of light in the apartments.
Natural light.
Natural, right?
Now,
So-
you don't get morning light, and the afternoon light's probably being blocked by the
it's
Wilson
gonna
building.
be very minimal because of the way the sun
Yeah.
sets in the west.
Oh, I know.
It's
No,
that-
I don't think we're even talking about direct,
Right.
sunlight, like just which is why the amount of glazing feels really important. And we batted around. Could we replace? Have some of these? So we have some of these are into the main living areas of the apartments, and some are into bedrooms. I think the increase in lighting is probably less vital for the bedroom, but changing some of the windows and not the others
Well,
didn't
how
seem
about,
like
how
a
about
reasonable
skylights?
approach.
They wouldn't be seen from the floor, from the ground level. Would that be
Yeah,
an
so
option?
I don't think so. They just replaced the roof. It's a membrane roof
Right.
on a structural system that I'm hesitant to operate on. Honestly, it is a man, it's a nest of wood, and there was some shoring up and some replacing of some damaged structure, and it varies, but it's a couple of feet thick. So
Well, you'd have a shaft, I mean,
yeah, we talked about light tubes.
Yeah.
So there are some ways to get light in, but honestly, I don't know if you're familiar with light tubes, but
Yes.
in my experience, they're not much better than just a
no,
fixture on the
skylights
ceiling.
would probably be the way to go, but,
So Ed,
yeah.
I just want to be clear. Your concern is the decorative elements on the top of the windows.
Well, in our guidelines, once you
Not to,
you pull something out and expand it, it's gone forever.
so what if you left the width of the window but made it longer?
It's kind of getting into a gray area for me.
Well, it gives you more space.
I don't know if that would be, I don't think it
And you
accomplishes
can
what
still
they're
put the
looking for.
balcony.
I don't think it accomplishes what they're looking for. I mean,
Well, I'm trying to think of a compromise.
I would be happy if they just left the existing and put in the French windows, get them made up. It doesn't satisfy what they're looking for. I understand that.
Yeah, so I guess if I understand the suggestion, then keeping a slightly over 30-inch width opening, but having a full height window. I mean, I think that a pair of doors wouldn't really be feasible. A couple of 1/6 doors, but perhaps.
Because it's really not a doorway.
No, it's not a doorway.
It's
You
not
just need
used
the
for
height.
egress, right?
Correct, and it's not used for. We're not creating occupied space outside of them.
Right, so I
So
could
extending it,
go along with the fact, but you can't. Once you take the bricks out, you can't put the bricks back. So if you can come up with a compromising situation for height, adding height, and decreasing the width, or keep the width the same, and see what your square inches are for looms.
and maintaining the original decorative
Yeah, right,
elements of the
because we're
window.
not touching that. You see what we're saying there?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Huh?
I don't think the windows on the Wilson building, the doors, they have doors there also, right?
Mhm.
They're not as wide as what you're proposing.
The building directly across the
Yeah.
street, I'd have to measure them, but they're approximately
Wait, she
a pair
sent
of
some
2/6.
pictures.
They're not
Yeah.
balconies.
No, neither are mine.
Right, I know.
I think that I'm
That's why I say you mirrored them really well.
right. That was the intention.
And
I
you
think
did a
we're
great job.
approximately the same size and type.
If you can come up with a way to increase the height and not mess with the width, I think you would be,
Increase
it could
Yeah.
fly.
No, I mean, I think that, the way to do that is pretty clear. You could have a single swing door, in a balcony, but I think that would be sacrificing the desire to increase the amount of light.
Depends on how much, I don't know, you can't
I
tell.
mean, we would increase slightly, so, the sills are currently, 2.5, 3 feet, so we would claim that much more, but that would,
That's a significant amount.
it's not nothing. It's
2.5, 3 feet on each window,
That's a lot of light.
I mean, I'm very disappointed to hear about the balcony in the front on Mason, because that seems to be where everyone likes to go and watch the people go by and sit there and enjoy the tunnel, so.
I think it's a great idea. It's the not fitting in with the historical part of the town, but like I said, it's already been changed, this building. The front has already been changed, the facade has changed, but the side has not.
The side's never been aborted at all.
Mhm.
No, it's been through the existing of the front change, but the side never changed. So as long as we preserve the side,
Particularly the windows.
we're trying to give you the benefit of the doubt if you work with it.
Yeah, no, we're,
You got it?
I mean, so perhaps,
I am, what,
perhaps some leeway on the balcony, you know, it would be, if we were able to give ground on the windows along Strawberry Street, then, you know, and that we could gain a little bit more leeway as far as replicating what we're showing at the balcony. You know, so I think, I mean, it would be easy enough, I think, to recreate the Juliet balcony style on the windows on Strawberry, but just a single door, so we wouldn't have as much light, but,
You could put a mullion down the middle and make it look like a door, windows, you know?
yeah, perhaps.
That's an idea, a suggestion.
I would be, okay, very happy to be able to get these little Juliet balconies is like you breathe out, you know what I mean? You feel like you can go out and be part of that town rather than be restricted within this window. And a lot of other buildings on Mason have that. And maybe there is a different system to make it look more like on the front, instead of the steel beams, there may be another way of creating a column of some kind, a pillar.
Yeah, I think that it really just comes down to a way of preserving the design and the decorative top of that window, not changing that at all, which means not changing the width.
Yeah, that rules out changing the width.
Can you, I don't know how quick you could do this, but mathematically, I don't think you're gonna, I think you're gonna really gain by lengthening the height of the door by not increasing the width. Because if you go 3 feet or 2.5 feet, that's a lot of space.
Actually, you know, when I'm looking at this further, you wanted to go out an extra 30 inches on each one.
A little under, yeah.
That really, really changes the whole side.
It changes the side, the outlook of the side, if you look at it that way. If you, each side, each one of these windows will be increased by 30 to 30 inches.
You're almost doubling, I guess, what's here.
Almost, right.
Yeah.
Right. So the concept you would lose totally.
So if you can figure out a way to
Well,
just
so maybe,
not make them
maybe
any wider.
if you,
That's what
we
we
could
do.
Right, that's
propose,
what I'm saying. We would be okay with that.
right, so
Height-wise.
if Clelia doesn't object, perhaps we could, propose to replace, you know, basically keep the same opening, replace with doors, so full height, glass. That would leave us the opportunity to leave the, detailing of the header in
Right.
place. We could still get the balcony with the door, but it just wouldn't, we wouldn't get the increase in glass.
Well, you would.
But you would, because
We
you're
would get an increase, yes.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get the full increase
Yeah,
that
you
we
get the
proposed.
30 inches on the
But-
bottom.
But yeah, I understand the, contention with the changing of the existing character there, and I think that we could perhaps make, be,
So that would be acceptable.
make a compromise, in that regard.
I think that would, it would probably fly.
And the
All right,
front,
now we're back to the
what do you
front.
think about the front?
Okay. What is everyone, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think that would work for the sides. I'm still not sure what we're gonna do in the front, though.
Yeah.
So I think we still need to discuss the front. And can I just put a suggestion out here, because it sounds like we're doing a lot of potential changes to this.
Okay,
Clearly, we're not gonna reach a decision this evening.
okay.
Our deadline to actually take action on this application is June 14th, under a 60-day review timeframe. So I would actually suggest that we convene a special meeting just to take up an additional review. We're not finished yet. I just wanna make sure you walk away with all of their comments to see how we can come back and truly resolve this.
I think that's a great idea. That'll give you an opportunity to give us a drawing of increasing the height of the opening, but not increasing the width.
Sure.
And see
So-
how much,
So do we think that conditional approval is, tonight is out of the question? Because I think that, the
We
doors.
haven't even touched on
Yeah.
the front.
yeah.
What were your concerns with the front?
Well, that's why I want to have a little discussion, see what you guys.
Yeah, I think so too, that we
Well,
need.
we were working on the side for a half hour.
Felt productive.
I think it's very productive. I'm really pleased with the fact that we can at least agree on the fact that we can come together on the height, increase the height and leave the width the same, which I really believe, I can't do the math in my head, but I think you're gonna be the same or gain lighting.
Well, we're certainly gonna gain over what's there. You know,
Well, they were
Right.
going out quite a bit. I mean, if he's going
So
out.
what about the
30
windows
inches.
in the front? Are we okay with those?
Crazy.
So, Katie, are you suggesting that we extend this to a special meeting?
Yes, probably
consider the
like
front.
the June 10th or June 11th. I would pull us into a special meeting, and if it's agreeable on your calendars, maybe we could do it during the day. If that gives sufficient time for you, Chris, to maybe do some of these revisions and talk with the owner to see what might work. I'm not saying
I
we
mean,
stop
depending-
talking right
yeah,
now,
it's,
because we still need to
right.
talk about the front.
No, I understand. And I mean, the changes that you're saying would be acceptable to our proposal for the windows along Strawberry Street are really easy for me
Okay.
to depict. That's, you know, honestly, I think that's, you know, that's still in the realm of easily described here verbally. So if there's
And if you think you can get
substantial
into
changes.
a meeting sooner than June 11th, we can entertain that. I was just trying to provide you sufficient time to do the work you would need to do.
I appreciate that. I think the changes to Strawberry Street, those are really easily done. If we're talking, so depending on how the conversation goes with the front, then, you know.
Well, and that's, I'm just hoping, I didn't know if we can give him some guidance on the front that he could be working on.
We're going to. That's
Yes,
next.
yes,
Okay.
please.
So percolate that idea, so keep your conversation going. I just don't want you to think
So
you're
I
not
really
going
Like
think
to,
we can
like
do
to keep
those.
the same width, which I think you're proposing pretty much on the
Yes,
front.
yes, we're saying the same width, the same height, and I'm not sure, I'm not confident we'll be able to maintain, you know, the exact same profile as what's there, but to the extent possible, we're trying to have it be the same size and depth as the existing.
But nothing will change with the top design element on the windows on the front.
No, exactly. So we're just leaving the existing window in place for the center one, and then we're proposing to put single swing doors, which will now match what we're saying around the side. So that's we're replacing. So we're extending the sills down to the floor line, but the opening, the brick, the header detail will all remain in place.
And what about the balcony railing?
Yeah, the railing on the ground level and the balcony level, it's gonna be the same, I'm assuming?
That's what I'm showing. You know, so we have the.
Let me just say one thing about the downstairs railing.
Yeah.
The only reason it's there is because of the ABC license. And at Lemon Tree, we always have these events.
Yes.
And so I was not able to get permission for people to have a drink on the patio.
I was curious how that
So that
happened.
railing is, I mean, if you feel that the railing is, we could easily change that, or even put, you know, big planters with bushes.
If you want to
Because-
continue to serve alcohol from time to time.
Yes, in reality, we have to have by law this sort of dividing,
They gotta be able to control the
yes,
space where alcohol is
that's the
served.
only reason it's
Yes.
there, because obviously I would much rather not have a railing, and be able to walk out freely
Yeah.
and have a drink and not be persecuted for it.
But you would have to have a railing on the second.
But on the second
Oh,
floor,
yeah.
so that, I don't want you to think that that first floor cheapo thing that we put in a rush is going to be the main guideline for this, because that is really a nothing little railing.
Well, so if you say you'd be comfortable with put planters.
Concerned about
I
material.
mean, we could do a completely
Yeah, I know,
different
I
thing.
wasn't sure what was going on here, what, if it was
But
gonna
the
matter.
one across the street has one there.
The new,
The
Wilson building?
the one that you're facing.
Not on the ground level.
No.
No, not on the ground level, but it has.
The south
the
side,
other
right?
ones.
So, what would you propose if you wanted to eliminate the railing?
Well, not eliminated, you mean the downstairs?
Yes.
I mean, we're actually, to tell you the truth, we were planning to extend that railing around the corner on Strawberry, and we've been talking to the town and to VDOT about it. But and that is only because of the ABC license and the fact that we're trying to promote entertainment on Strawberry Street every Friday as a street party. So so we're trying to see how we can do that, but that can be changed. And another idea that I've seen even in New York and other cities, when they have this same, they put planters with bushes.
Yeah, and Berkshire has an ABC license and they serve outside and they don't have to have
So
a fence.
do all of these changes,
Where their outside tables are.
Well, when I renovated, and I started the lemon tree, I was told I had to do that.
But you could use something else as a barrier, like
But we
big
could use,
planters.
yeah, I mean, as long as people can't walk out.
so are these changes that you're talking about for, screening or separating, whatever, are they not subject to historic review board approval?
Probably, yes.
Okay. I was just wondering if perhaps we could just show nothing there for the time being,
Yeah,
if
okay.
that was something that you were considering.
As long as it's not a permanent structure.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
One
if it was
cake, I
just
can get
plants
that
and
raining
things.
down.
The railing,
So the planter idea is being a non-permanent structure is not subject to y'all's review, is that correct?
Okay.
I think anything you do, let me give you another point. Maybe this will work. If the railing on the bottom doesn't have to match the railing on the top, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why couldn't you make the railing on the bottom floor, the street level, not as obtrusive as is shown on the drawing? And make it lighter, not as heavy?
But you'd want them to match.
We don't have to have them to match.
Well, I'm open to suggestions. The
I'm
idea,
I'm throwing it at you.
If you
You
look at the
designed
house across the street and
But
we have a picture.
they're not as heavy as this.
No, they're not, that's what I'm saying.
That's
That
where-
design.
But you're gonna need the columns
is
for
much-
support.
Yeah,
It's much lighter.
yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
And I don't have the pictures. Katie, do you have the extra?
I got a Google map, and I'm assuming you mean the building right across on Strawberry
Right.
Street. So if you look at this, Chris, their balconies have a white trim on the bottom, and the railing, yes, well, it's some
It's
sort of
very
metal, I'm having
simple,
a hard time
square.
seeing what it is.
yeah,
There's a little differentiation of color. It's just not so,
I'm intending to, I was trying to depict basically the same railing. So,
Yeah.
You know,
The
it reads
bottom,
on this print.
the
as
street level
perhaps-
railing is very, very heavy, and it takes away from the building, the way I look at it. I think if it was lighter, it would probably fly.
So,
Well,
You
maybe we
talking
should
about
defer
lighter
this.
in color or lighter?
Maybe we should
Visually
defer
like
this.
it, like this. So I
would.
I basically just copied this print, what I showed at the top, which has necessarily a certain 42-inch height.
We're talking about tonight.
and it's got a really tight,
I know, that's what-
right, in between your periods. So maybe if you could just space on that, of course, you want such a black visual together, that might help improve it as well.
yeah,
Having
I
a
think
break
it
in
just
the,
comes down to making the railing less
Right.
ornate,
No, it's easily
Making it more
accepted if that works.
simple.
And I'm actually showing, I just, for the sort of ease of representation here, copy pasted one railing down so that they're matching, which, it doesn't, the ground level doesn't need to be the height that
Nope.
the top one is, and it doesn't need to have the close space
It can be
pickets.
much lighter, and it's also cheaper. This
Yeah,
rail is very
absolutely.
expensive, very expensive.
I don't know what the height railing requirement is, I mean,
42 inches,
I don't know.
You should know.
42 inches.
On the street level?
Just a commercial guardrail
Okay,
for occupied balcony, it's gotta be 42 inches.
well, that's on the
Second.
balcony.
Yeah, for the balcony, so there's no code implications to the ground floor
Yeah, that's-
railing.
No, so it could be 3 feet. All it is a barrier for alcohol.
Right.
That's
Is
So it
there-
could be,
all it is.
Which
Yeah,
lets
Is
I
there
think
any
we-
lighting fixtures?
we'd be happy to propose, I'm sorry.
Are you proposing any light fixtures?
No.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'd be happy to change to a less prominent, visually prominent ground level. We have no dedication to the height or
I
the.
think everybody would be a lot happier if you, it's kind of like, the railing's there, but you don't really need to look at it.
So
Yeah,
he makes
sure.
these changes and then comes back and we can have a special meeting. And we have.
Yeah, I'd like to see the changes of sure.
Right.
And the
We'll have another
dimensions,
meeting.
the heights,
Dimensions and heights of railings.
the railings, and on the windows, the railings on that also.
Sure.
And the protrusion, you said approximately 6 inches, I mean, like to know kind of more accurately.
Sure. Easily done.
And then we can just have a special meeting for that.
There's no reason, is there a reason that you couldn't cantilever Strawberry Streets further out?
Yeah, I don't think that's a viable approach. We looked at it, so it currently is cantilevered out because there's no loads on it, right? We were talking about human occupancy loads, and the cantilever means we would need to run the structure back into the building and then bear on that masonry. So I don't think it's.
No, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there with that.
All right.
No, it's a fair question. I thought the
idea.
same, and for a little while, but I don't think it's viable.
All right, does anyone want to make a motion?
So,
Wait a
before you make a motion, actually, I'm gonna ask Chris, do you think you have enough information to come back with some a modified proposal to us? How soon would you like to come back to us? You tell me how much time you need to do this work.
No, I think certainly early June is fine. I think that a couple of weeks top is fine.
Okay, so no later than June 11th, and I will work with you and the board to see your availability, and we will book that meeting and call it for a special meeting. Okay? Does that work? Okay.
And the motion would be to defer until.
Right, till the 10th or the 11th.
Defer to allow the applicant to come back with a modified proposal.
Right, what date did you pick?
No later than June 11th. We're gonna work on that with Chris and in your calendars as well to see what works for all of you.
Okay, then I make a motion that we defer this until the
No
date.
later than June 11th.
No later than June 11th, and Chris is supposed to come back with the information that we need to make a decision.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Next application, it's Mr. Ed Eichmann for 428 Randolph Avenue.
Yeah, how you doing? Everybody's well?
For the record, I'm Edward Eichmann, representing Mary Huff, the owner. At the pre-application meeting, it was determined that there were some zoning matters that needed to be addressed before you all could do this final review. And as Katie's staff report confirms, the Board of Zoning Appeals granted a group of variances that satisfied the zoning matters. Also, at the pre-application meeting, the board recommended a few adjustments to the information for the project, and that is confirmed with the current application in the form of this 2 pages of text titled Exterior Materials, which identifies in the bold text the group of requirements that were recommended during the pre-application meeting. Things such as maintaining a wood material for the existing porch flooring and utilizing wood shutters at existing and new windows, and maintaining the existing chimney that's visible on the east side of the roof. And the other requirement from the pre-application meeting was that the existing accessory building would need to remain on the lot. And as you look at the site plan drawing, SP1, the item 616 on that drawing indicates that the existing accessory building remains, And that has actually been removed from the scope of the current project. So that what is currently proposed is an addition to the existing duplex with a porch to match the existing front porch. And beyond that, I can respond to any questions or comments you have.
You've been through a lot of detail here, Ed.
I'm just glad something's finally being done with that.
I had a question.
Yes, let's hope.
On the, you're proposing metal capping on the fascia?
That's what is carried over from, yes, what was submitted at the pre-application meeting.
Well, on the existing residence, it says new pre-finished metal fascia / soffit / freeze board
Cover
at the corners.
at corners, correct.
When I looked at that building, I thought it was, I didn't see the metal.
No, what this is proposing is that new material be added to the existing furnace.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm questioning. Why you're proposing metal as opposed to,
Again, it has to do with maintenance, long-term durability, but as occurred during the pre-application meeting, I'm open to further modifications that the board may wish to consider here. One of the, I'll call it odd circumstances with this property is that it has gone through a number of previous modifications, all of which were done before I was involved, so I don't really know the history. But we have an existing duplex structure here that is a contributing property based on its age, but all of the attic framing, roof sheathing, and the shingles on the roof have been replaced in the past. The exterior siding is vinyl replacement, as are all of the windows have been replaced. So we have this somewhat hybrid situation with this particular property.
well, I think.
That then begins to cloud a little bit how specifically do we reflect the history. It's in some ways to me it's sort of like as I said, a hybrid between a contributing and a non-contributing building at this particular point, just simply because of the extent of modifications that have
Would you be
occurred.
opposed to, a composite material or even a painted board material? I mean,
Yes, that's fine.
It's bad enough that it's yellow, double 5, Dutch lap vinyl siding on that corner. If you can at least keep the metal off the fascia boards would be, from shiny metal,
Yeah,
it'd be
I understand,
something,
sure.
some consolation.
Yeah,
The other thing was
okay.
the metal roof for me on the existing porch. That's gonna be restored or redone?
That really needs to be evaluated. There really has been, at this point in time, no specific evaluation of the condition of certain, exterior materials. And so my desire would be, as this indicates, to either restore and/or replicate the standing seam metal roof with a paint finish. That would at least visually return it to a somewhat, accurate appearance as far as, the.
No, I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay.
I don't think the board should be opposed to it. I mean, that's.
No, you're talking about putting metal back on.
Correct, yes.
That's what it should be.
But a traditional standing seam metal detail, not a capped product, refinished product. That's my basic point.
That was the only two things that I had a concern with.
Okay.
Everything else looked pretty good in my mind.
I wouldn't expect less from you.
Thank you. I return that compliment.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you for keeping the chimney.
Well, as I said, if,
Is there any more discussion?
No?
Someone like to make a motion?
We'll make a motion, we give him a certificate of reparation.
With just,
Katie, you got the stipulations written?
So, yeah, so you're looking for a motion to approve with a composite material or painted material on the fascia, and a standing seam metal roof on the existing porch, and all other items contained in the application.
that would also include, I think the soffit, I don't know what's on there now.
you're talking still at the cornice you're talking about? Or-
And the freeze board, shouldn't be capped with aluminum. That could be painted or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Well,
soffit, I'm not sure what material's up there and what your intentions are.
So you prefer no metal at the fascia soffit, or freeboard or freeze?
Freeze,
Freeze board.
F-R-I-E-Z-E.
That's what I thought you were saying, I'm having a hard time, so.
each of those is an element of the main cornice
Right.
on the house, so
Okay,
that's what they're.
no metal there,
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
Those are your conditions.
Right, thank you.
Yep.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion's
Way to
approved.
go, Ed.
Well, thank you.
Motion's approved with those stipulations.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on the home stretch, don't lose focus.
Okay, the next applicant, 425 Randolph Avenue. We have a repeat customer.
Again, I'm Claudine Pierce of Peacock Cottage. I'm representing the owner at 425 Randolph.
You only get one shot.
I have one at the end too, but the owner's gonna do it for me.
Oh, no.
I don't know if I,
You only get one shot.
this is an 1890s contributing structure. Unfortunately, over the years, the wood siding was covered up with vinyl. Existing windows have been replaced with vinyl windows. There are two porches, one on Plum Street and one on the west side, that from looking at the foundation and the structure were probably added 50s or 60s. The owners would like to make a few modifications to the windows. On the front elevation on the Randolph Avenue side, they also want to replace the asphalt shingles on the porch with a standing seam metal roof. Otherwise, the front elevation will remain as is. On the east side elevation, on the Plum Street side, they'd also like to replace the lower porch roof there that's now enclosed with standing seam metal. On the rear elevation, which is the north side, and I don't know if you'll have photos or not, I don't know if they got in there of that existing house.
I don't have any.
So the rear side, north, as you can see from Plum, it's got a 6-foot fence, very difficult to see. And you can see this is the Plum Street, there's a 6-foot fence.
Okay.
Here you go.
Yeah.
There were replacement windows put in that are much smaller and shorter and at a lower head height than the original windows. So we want to go back and we want to match the existing window up here below so that they're the same height, width, and at the same head height. We will go back with composite trim, which is the AZEC historic sill, the 5-quarter by 4 trim, and match the windows trim that's already there.
I love it when you say historic trim.
Yes. And then on the west side, which you cannot see at all, there's no alley in the back of the house. You can't see it at all, the west side.
Right.
There's no alley. They have a large accessory building. But on that side, they would like to just move the windows around, patch the vinyl on that side. And it's just more, and then they'd like also on the north side to add a door to the rear of their yard because they don't have access directly to the rear of their yard currently. It's a side door that's behind the propane tanks the only way they can get to their backyard. So that's really the extent of what they're asking to do. They are going to be using vinyl windows, since that's what everything is on the house, but they will be staying with the historic trim around them.
The door that you're going to install, there's no stairs or
We're going to
landing there.
be adding a brick stoop and stairs.
Okay. What would be the height for that?
The height for the door,
Yeah, where does the door fall onto the foundation? How high is that?
it is about back there. It's probably 3 risers.
Okay. It's in the rear of the house, so our purview, you can't see it, the fence is blocking
fence is
everything.
blocking
I kind of
everything.
peeked through the fence to take a look at what was going on there.
And most
I
of
didn't
what
go on the property.
most of what we're doing is you can't see,
Yeah.
except for adding the new standing seam metal.
And the window that you want to,
The window on the side is, we'd like to raise it so that it matches the window height of the original windows in the front and the side.
is that because it's in the kitchen or something?
It has this odd attic space above there. But I think when they renovated this kitchen in the 1970s, what they did is they ran a bulkhead for ductwork. And I think that's when they lowered the windows from their original height. And we're removing all those ducts and returning the head height back to what it was before.
Does anybody have any discussion, comments?
No.
Somebody like to make a motion?
Make a
I'll
motion.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the requested certificate of appropriateness with conditions that have been noted.
Can I get a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion's passed.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
Don't come back.
Okay.
Good God, they can't be, all these things keep multiplying.
All right, the next applicant, 524, 526 Peach Street. Boy, you've been sitting here a long time. man.
Yes, sir. Exhausted. Bill Tsapatsaris, seeking approval to raise the structure no more than 36 inches so we can put a block foundation with a stucco finish. On the back of the house, we'd like to add an addition, approximately 15 by 28. The front porch existing is wood decking, so we're going to keep that material the same. The shingles on the roof are architectural shingles, so we're going to keep that the same on the addition. And the, let's see, well, the front porch, the handrails as well will be wood. I'm trying to think of what else I need to tell you. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to raise it because the house is sinking. Again, block foundation with stucco finish. We're going to keep, the siding is vinyl. We're going to keep that as close as we can to existing.
Do you have any idea when this house was built?
I think it's 1930, but I saw 2 different dates, and I forget what the other date was. So I'm pretty certain it's been about 90 years or so. And,
That old stretch on Peach Street, they're all similar.
and it's right now it's on piers, that's why it's sinking.
So when you raise it, you're not gonna do anything with the deck, will it?
Well, there's a front porch, so there's no deck, so we're gonna put just rails and stairs.
You really don't have any detail for the rear addition.
As in a picture, there's a drawing that we got from a,
Porch A and B, I see porch, that's a real porch,
it's a what?
the rear.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes. Yes, correct.
With railings and a foundation,
Oh, yeah.
and the
Is
porch.
that the addition?
Well, no. So the house is on the ground.
Correct,
We're gonna elevate it
yes.
so we can put the foundation, and that's gonna leave, so there is no front or rear deck. There's a front porch, so we're gonna just add handrails.
Okay, this is the front then.
Well, you know, I'm not, I don't know that.
It says porch.
That is the front.
This,
Oh, wait a minute.
So, yeah, so what's the,
this is rear.
where the showers are?
Yeah. So we're gonna add, right.
So it's just a deck on the back.
You know, he put deck, we're thinking just to walk down to a patio, so they're really, just stairs is really what we're looking at. I'm surprised that the architect put that.
Not actually an addition.
Well, no, so the existing footprint is 24 by 28, so off the back, we're gonna go 15 feet deep beyond that, beyond the existing structure.
You're adding the breakfast room?
Yes,
Okay.
Wow,
Is
you
there- there's
gotta
nothing
show some,
that shows
you
where-
gotta have some detail, you have to
Yeah,
have some
it
plans,
doesn't
some elevations.
show,
What's new?
What's new?
well, okay, so the existing house is gonna remain, what's new will be the 15 by 28.
Yeah, but we need to know.
Right, but in the drawings, there's nothing that shows us where the old house was versus where.
You have
the
a
new
floor plan, and we need some elevations.
See, there's no elevation, all you have is this page right here.
I wish we had more guidance, we would've,
Well, this is only pre-application meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, so assuming that we got the green light, I was gonna go ahead and have the engineering drawings created and the foundation drawings created. I didn't wanna do that until we knew we were good to go.
we're not asking for that. We're asking for
The elevation.
the elevations. I mean, it could probably be done on a computer. But we
Hey,
need to know,
The roof line,
Oh, wait, so if we're asking for no more than 36 inches from where it is now, does that not
well,
answer?
you're adding 15 feet on the rear of this house.
Right,
We don't know the roof pitch, we don't know the windows, we don't know
Is it just
anything.
gonna be like a straight,
you're correct, like a box, yes.
no, I'm saying, it'll continue the same line, the
Correct.
same roof pitch?
Yes,
Well, it's a
What is the roof
two-story, is
pitch?
it one-story addition, is it a two-story
two,
addition?
yep.
I mean, come on.
Well, so this is, okay, so come on, what do I need to do to give, all right.
You're showing us a floor plan like it's existing.
Two-dimensional.
Well, did you see the picture? So we showed you a picture of the front of the house, the concept.
Right. Do you have a picture
Yeah,
of the
it's
back
a-
of what it's gonna look like?
No,
It's a
we
hip
included
roof.
everything that they gave to us.
It's a hip roof, duplex.
Yep,
Now, you said you're extending it 15 feet in the back, 2 stories.
yes.
So you have to show us the roof pitch, is it gonna tie into the existing roof? How is it gonna tie in? We need the windows, where they're gonna be placed.
what
Where's
kind
the
of
door?
windows?
Okay, I saw some detail in the packet. You're not seeing,
Well, this is what I received.
I see
Oh,
pictures
I
of
have it right
windows.
here.
okay,
I have nothing for the rear addition.
okay. So the,
I'm assuming these windows that you have in the packet are the windows that are going in the
right,
renovation?
yes.
See, you have on this, it says proposed addition,
Mhm.
but it just has a dimension, 15 by 26.9. It doesn't say that it's 2-story, it doesn't say that it's 1-story, it
All right,
doesn't,
so what do you need? So,
an elevation.
okay,
An
so
elevation will give you.
architectural drawing,
Or you could do it, probably, like I said, who did this rendering?
the architect,
The architect.
yes.
He could do a rendering like that, it shouldn't cost you much money.
Okay.
I have a question about the windows. You have a picture here,
Mm-hmm.
is that what they're gonna look like?
Well, that's what the builder added to the packet.
Because those aren't the same that you have on the rest of the house.
Let me help him for
Thank
a
you.
second. I'm gonna give you an example of another application. This was 2 applications before. So this is what we're looking for. So they're looking for an exterior elevation. So you gave us a drawing of the front, which is fine. We now need to see the backside. So we
Okay.
need to see with the addition, how much you're proposing. How's the roof line gonna tie into the existing
Okay.
structure with the addition? And then also, when you give us that interior layout one, all I see is that just looks like it's there. So we just need somewhere some color or something that indicates, here's where the new piece starts. Back, does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, so So that gives you an idea, and we're happy to talk with your architect, he should know how to do this.
Oh, I'm surprised, because he's been,
That's okay, it happens, So I think we've got the idea of what you guys are looking for to make a decision.
And just one question about the window design that you're putting on the back, they don't match the windows in the front.
well, you know, I'm thinking that the builder put that in there to show what he's thinking. I read 6/1 is what he's thinking.
Okay, because that's not the picture. Well, it is actually
This
6/1.
No, I read, he submitted a one-pager, and it said he's proposing to match 6/1. So I'm not sure if you guys, maybe you don't have that? I got it in the packet that came.
Yeah, no, this is not a 6/1.
No, I realize that. I'm telling you what he put. He added a one-pager.
So he gave us a bunch of samples of windows, but then he also gave that, which makes it seem like that's the prominent window type, this double hung
Yes,
window.
wood
But
Right.
did you
Right.
see his one-pager that he added? Wait,
No.
let me.
Well, why would you put that picture in there?
So we just need some we need clarification on which type of window.
This is in the packet that you guys indicated. This is what he put in.
Yeah, the material list.
The material
No,
list.
no, no. Let's see, it was 6/1 is what he's talking about, and that's why, that's the existing. But no, I can't find it.
So I think that was the intent in the list. It was to be 6/1.
Yeah, I read that recently.
So we just need to get clarity.
Okay,
That's where we are at this point.
so really, the architect needs to.
Yes, he's got to do a
A
little
little
bit
more
more work.
detail is what we're
Yes,
looking for.
so here, like, for example, on the floor plan, well, all this looks like this is all existing house. We
Right.
need to see, this is the new addition coming here on the second floor. This is the new addition on the first floor. That piece is new in
Yeah.
dimensions so that
Yeah.
we can see it, and also to tie in how the elevation and the
Right.
placement of the windows on each of
Exactly.
those
You
two
know what-
two levels.
I'm sure there's a door in the back also.
Yeah, and so yes, how you'd be accessing from here to get to your deck or patio, whatever that's going to be on the back.
Right.
Are there any changes to the front of the building now?
The only change are gonna be the addition of a railing and
Railing.
steps as he
No
elevates.
additional windows or anything?
So the drawing does show two
In the front of the
in the
building?
front, the drawing, the concept drawing that is in, the one in color, and the existing only has one on the second floor.
Yeah. That, was that mentioned in the write-up?
No, I didn't have that in the write-up.
Yeah, I didn't
can
think
tell
so,
you that.
because I took a ride by that place and I seen it only had the one, the
But-
two windows up top and he's showing
And
four.
Bill's correct, it was noted in the picture, there is a notation that one of those is a new window.
Yeah.
I didn't note it in the documentation, so that, I take fault for that one.
New twin double window.
Right.
Yeah, you might wanna see if that's gonna align with the lower windows. I mean, it's,
See if they stack.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, we can certainly make that happen.
He didn't even put that in his letter.
Okay. So, do you think we can get this back for the June meeting? They meet the third
I
Tuesday
can
in
email him tonight or tomorrow, sure.
Okay, so you can reach me tomorrow, we can talk about if he needs my help or any way,
Mhm.
and we'll get you back on the June agenda if that's possible.
Okay.
Okay? Did I miss anything else you guys need to get resolved on this? Information you need?
Just, if you're gonna be, Katie, can he do June the 10th also?
If we can try, but this may be a little bit more time, I don't know what his calendar is for his architect, so.
Oh, well, right, it depends on him.
Right,
but I can-
so I'll be in touch with him, and if we can, we can, if not,
Yeah, I'd like
otherwise
to
it'll be on
shoot-
our regular meeting.
Well, if you shoot for the 10th, then we could
That
take care
sounds
of
like
you
a-
at the same time as we do a lot of the other
That
ones.
sounds like a
Two
plan.
others.
Good,
Okay, we will
thank
try.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
Special meeting.
Yeah, right.
All right,
your letter says all existing windows and doors in the house will stay, it doesn't say anything about it.
yeah.
Okay, so I
I'm
think we
trying to
know
think who
what he
authored that.
needs.
Well, can I just see what you're reading? Which one?
Okay, Katie, so we'll make a motion, or,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
double
what
check
we
with them.
use.
You actually don't need a motion, I think we'll give you direction, and we will get
Okay.
them scheduled as soon as possible.
all right, thank you.
thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're at the end of the line here. Application for 1618 Randolph Avenue. And the,
618,
618,
yes. My
Randolph,
wife's watching from home, so.
and the applicant's here.
Oh,
State your name and tell us.
Hi, good evening. Jeff Palmore. We bought 618 Randolph. It's been sitting vacant for a couple years, for several years. The lady who owned it before, loved the home, but moved away several years ago. There were some additions put on in the back that are not historic, obviously, that were not the best constructed additions. So in the renovations, we need to basically replace those additions and really do a total renovation of the house. The inside, we have a demolition permit for the inside, so it's down to the studs, and so we are doing everything to this house, but we want to preserve the historic look of the home, and keep all the window sizes the same. We're requesting to remove the vinyl siding to hopefully use the original wood siding.
That's what we look for.
We are hopeful that it's in functional shape. We think there's asbestos siding in between that was put on at some point. So hopefully the wood is in a good shape that we can use it. The windows are in there. Want to bring consistency throughout the house. Right now there's kind of a mishmash of all hodgepodge of different types of windows. There's the addition in the back. We want to connect the existing roof line and build a hipped roof that goes around, that connects a covered screen-in porch with the mudroom, and then a covered part of the deck that would not be screened in. And in that process, to get the hipped roof, we need to raise one of the window sills up just a little bit to fit that, but you can't see that from the street. And then, of course, you mentioned the chimney, and there's a letter from the structural engineer in there about the chimney.
Let me tell you about the chimney. Honest to God, we've had so many of them. There's one on Tazewell that was totally restored. So structurally, you can do just about anything you want. That you can restore that chimney, and the chimneys and the windows and this is a very historic house. So you got to do better with the chimney.
Well, I would ask you to look at the last paragraph of
He does have
the engineer's letter
Yeah, I saw it.
that says it's
an engineering report.
it's not safe in its current form, and it's not economic to repair it.
It's not, I'm sure it's not safe, and that picture right here shows you it's not safe. But it was a thimble fireplace. That was for a cook stove,
Yes, sir.
right? So, there's a lady that lives on Tazewell, probably the 600 block, has a chimney, but it doesn't go to the floor. It's blocked off. So the chimney goes through the roof, but it stops on the inside of the attic. So the chimney's still there, but it's not there.
I think that might have been mentioned in the engineer's report.
Yes,
Was
sir.
that mentioned?
Yes, sir.
I read the report.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do. I'm relying on the advice of the structural engineer. And the last sentence says, we don't feel it's economical to attempt to brace or repair the chimney.
And he does mention what you're saying. It says, our review of interior revealed the home is a balloon frame with ribbon board supporting by second floor joists. We know that there's a whole, I missed the spot, but I'm pretty sure it mentions in here that it probably wouldn't support just leaving the chimney there.
In the middle of the last paragraph, it says, it's an unstable object supported on brick masonry that's in poor condition. And it would improve the safety of the home to remove the chimney.
They indicate this letter actually did not do a structural review of the residence.
Run that by me again, Katie?
The letter says, we did not make a comprehensive or general structural review of the residence. And really, the purpose of this was to determine whether it's economical to save the chimney. Could it be salvaged or not?
Okay, so they didn't make a valuation at the site.
No, the engineer came to the house and inspected. What I think what Katie is saying, that he's not verifying the structural integrity of the whole house. He was there to inspect to do the beam letter
Right.
for
So
the building
he
permit and to
didn't-
do an evaluation of the chimney, which he did on site.
Okay, so what he didn't do, he didn't evaluate the structure of the house that would support the cap that went through the roof.
Right, and he's indicating that there's an addition that falls behind the chimney. That addition is not on a concrete footer for that addition, so there is concern about the addition and the chimney remaining. Sorry, I think that's what you're talking about, Ed, so I hope
Yes,
I caught the right element
Yes.
here.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
You can support that 3 foot or whatever you got that goes through your roof line from underneath, from bridging the timbers, and not go down through the house.
The plan is that room where the chimney currently goes through will have a vaulted ceiling, so there wouldn't be any beams upon which to support the false chimney.
I'm not sure how visible this is from the road. I
It-
can't remember, I didn't.
It's
pay
very,
that.
you can see it if you're in just the right angle, but it's generally very hard to
Relying on the
see.
engineer's report, I kind of put that on the
Yeah,
side.
I mean, he's pretty,
And I was looking at the rest of the renovation, and I liked what I was reading and seeing. But as far as the chimney, I didn't make a determination in my own.
plus where the chimney is, the addition right after it's gonna be torn down. So the chimney's gonna lose work.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I would go with the engineering report.
That's
I
your house?
think
Yes.
if we deny it and
This is on
something
Google
happens
Maps
and
in
that
the front.
chimney collapses,
618 is that house.
Yeah.
So you can't see the chimney from here. I just wanted to point it out, to show you too. 618 is that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't see a chimney stack from the street.
Not in front, but as you approach it.
Right,
you
right.
can see
From,
it.
as you approach it, but directly in front, you cannot. So 618 is that one.
Yeah, it is, it is in the back, true.
Google Maps Street View.
Yeah, no,
Got it?
it's half a block from me.
Okay. Making sure everybody sees the same visuals.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as a safety issue, if you make him have to keep that chimney and something collapses and someone gets hurt, because the engineer said no, but
I think he did his due diligence. I mean, he's not trying to get away with something, you know what I mean? He's done a lot of research, he's doing a lot of the stuff that we like, preserving the historic details of this house, which it has a lot of details. The corbels on this house, I love it. Actually, there's one different in the front, if you didn't notice, the one on the right-hand side. It doesn't match the other one.
can I make a motion?
Well, we may discuss a little bit more.
Shutters, what about the shutters?
The shutters are non-historic. The ones particularly on the double windows in the front belong on one of those things that, show housing mistakes where,
Right.
the shutters don't actually cover the window if you were to close them, so they're non-historic.
And the one
You
on
should have a window frame around it, so we're gonna when you take the shutters off and take the vinyl siding off, hopefully that'll uncover the original window frame. And then the window in the top, we'd like to get reconstructed because we can't find anything that is original that looks like that has the curve on the top. I've called every architectural salvage place in Virginia, and nobody has anything like it. So we want to get something made to look like it
So it
belongs.
still has the same.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's stationary, that's not functioning.
So there is one down the street, if you're familiar with the East of the Sun house. That's the blue and yellow one. They have one. This is a very similar style house to that one. They have one that is functional, but it doesn't meet the requirements for fire code and that kind of thing. So we'll just probably ask whatever the window maker recommends.
So
in
what
that
are you
case.
doing with these stairs?
Which stairs?
The front stairs?
Nothing.
They're gonna stay-
We're not proposing any changes.
I'm just
They
looking
are.
at this photo, I'm just.
Yeah, they're brick covered with cement, and there's some places where they're loose that we need to kind of recover it with some cement. But based on the zoning rules, we were just repairing what's already there, not changing anything. So it didn't feel like that was something
Okay.
that we needed to bring to
I
you.
wasn't sure if you were covering over that or not.
No.
The casing around the new windows is gonna be wider, hopefully.
Yes, we are hoping that when we take off the vinyl, that the original will hopefully be hiding underneath, but our goal is to make it look in its original.
Okay, because you really don't have
shape.
any casing around there now.
Right, we think it's hopefully underneath. But yeah, we'd like to match kind of what's
The front
exists
door,
in
are you
town.
leaving that, is that, that's,
No, it is in really, really bad shape. It's not original, so we're gonna get a new one with lights at the top.
do you show that?
Yeah,
anywhere?
it's hard to see, I think, on the reproduction that we provided near the end. I don't know, it didn't show up on my copy, but it's right in front of the fence page. There's it's 422P is the front door that we're proposing.
Yeah, it's real thick.
I know it, there are so many copies, I think, in the process.
Okay.
Window up top.
All right.
See it?
Very good, yeah. That's-
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I see. So, I mean, it looks like he's doing
Yeah, yeah.
all the right things.
Who's gonna be painting all those corbels? I don't know.
So, can I make a motion?
Unless anyone else has anything to say?
No, I think, I think like her, hate to see the chimney go, but there's, credible evidence for removing it, so, there you go, okay.
I move that we approve or issue the certificate of approval based on what he has planned, including the destruction of the chimney, or I wouldn't call it destruction, the removal of the chimney.
I just have one more thing before we,
I'll second.
the window on the lower level,
Yes, sir.
was that added? Or was that, you think, always there?
As far as we can tell, that looks original, that it wasn't anything added. It's got a weird shape with a divider in between them, but our goal is to keep everything the same size and
You
and
don't
shape.
see too many of those double windows on the porch level like that.
I don't,
It's a low, really low sill.
these are
Yeah, but
very
I mean,
low
it's
sill
a
windows.
double.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
double.
Right.
Mhm.
I was just curious.
Sure.
I'm sorry. The
Okay,
motion?
no, we got a second?
Go second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is been passed. And good luck.
I understand. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Before you adjourn,
Okay.
just 1 second, I got just one couple things. I will email to you tomorrow that is out right now for a joint public hearing with the town council and the planning commission to take up amendments to the historic district overlay ordinance. And that is scheduled for June 1. I'll put all that in an email tomorrow for you so you have a chance to look at it. If you need a hard copy, just shoot us an email and we will get a hard copy out to you for that document. And then I apologize, these are long meetings. We are now caught up with the backlog of applications. So we're gonna try and keep you to about 7 to 10 applications moving forward. If we think we're gonna go over that, I may be coming back to you to look at calendars to see if we need to do 2 meetings a month and try and keep this at about 2 hours. I appreciate all the time you guys have given me the last 2 months to work our way through the backlog. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you and
Appreciate
Tracy
your time,
too,
and
yeah.
Tracy and Libby, thank you.
Now you can adjourn.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.